Options, and I'm Sharif. And oh, we already have a couple of people already there in the chat. Shout out to Darwin. Shout out to Nimit, my man. We got a plethora of small cap gappers on the side chart just for you, Nimit, my man. We'll get to those in a hot second. Shout out to Adara. Shout out to Adam DeLuce. Yes, 5-1 yesterday against Sporting, baby. I see you, Adam. I see you. Let's go. All right, it's taking a little bit of time for everyone to come on over. We got Cristobal. We got Ronaldo, Miss Yellow Dot, Juan Padilla in the house. And what day would it be if we didn't have T-Money? We got Gaurav. We got Daryl. We got Kalua Fiddlebeck. Hamlet joining us, as well as Daddy Gator. Shout out to him. Stock Up, Easy Media, and Jeremy Newman. We got the Spark Shop. What are you doing after the show, buddy? We need Indeed Money, Mirjana, Ringo, BGZ, and Cobra. Like that name. Catmandu, Ezekiel, Hamlet. Again, we got basketball, food, humor, and fun. That is a fantastic name. So is Bright and Awakening, and Nephew with a capital P. Love that name. What are these today? Blue Arrow. We got Donkey Trader, Patrick Riley. Shout out to Frank Handley. We got Baron. I like my suitcase. We got Anubu. We got JR, Pitchbull, Noah, Blue Arrow, Hope, Richie, LY, Santis, Eclipse, Junior Son. And we even have Joe in the chat. He's with us.
Oh, yeah, I've been seeing Joe in the chat recently. So what's up, Joe? How is everything? Yeah, Sharif, you know what? A little bit of blood in the streets, it seems to be the case this morning. Apple was being an outlier, but has now pulled back.
Yep.
So, hey, NVIDIA, keep selling, because if you continue to break down, I'm going to look to get involved in this
Absolutely,
one.
bro. It's what is it, $18 off the top there generally? That 150 level's
We'll
been...
take it. We'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just thinking to myself, actually, I was like, if this thing ever, I'm not saying that it is.
Yep.
But if it looks to get into the teens, if it ever gets to the teens, like 119, 20, I'm looking to...
You're going hard.
I'm going hard.
You're going hard. Are you going to go as hard as you went in IBIT?
No. No. I don't have that much conviction.
Oh, yeah, it's a big one.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Anything you want to cover before we weasel on into
Yes,
this?
Sharif. I actually had to refresh the screen a couple times and blink to make sure I was seeing what I was actually seeing. But we are going to go over the top performing sectors, all right? So this is why I had to refresh. Real estate sitting in first place, up a whopping 1% on the session. Then we got healthcare sitting in second place, up about 0.9% on the session. And then consumer staples up about 0.6% on the session. So it does seem like we are getting a little defensive here, Sharif, especially because we have some of the big boys selling. But one that is holding up fairly well, and we mentioned this before, is the soft one.
Oof.
Microsoft.
It's in that holding pattern.
It's in that holding pattern. It's holding. See, guys, just keep in mind here, as the overall market is selling off, the weakness within this stock isn't as much as the broader market, all right? So just keep that in mind. I'm slightly bullish on Microsoft, Azure, cloud computing giant. I really like them. So I like that. I like that it's holding these levels, Sharif.
Love it. All right, Joseph, we've been talking for a hot minute this week about these momentum oscillators. Let's continue that discussion with a bit of a lesser known momentum oscillator, but one I think you may find useful. I got it on my charts back at the house setup, at the home setup. So we're talking about the Commodity Channel Index, CCI for short. Let's get right to it. Let's waste no time, baby, as we always do. We always explain the topic anew. So the Commodity Channel Index, CCI for short, is a technical indicator. It measures the deviation of a price from its statistical mean. So it measures the deviation of a price from its statistical mean. That's what it does. It's often used to identify, like these other oscillators, that overbought and that oversold condition, as well as gauge when potential reversals might be making their way onto the trend. So we'll keep an eye on that. And as we always do, let's show you exactly how it is depicted here on the chart. You're going to have a bit of a different scale. So we've seen that 70, that 30 with the RSI, the 80 with the money flow index, and yesterday with the stochastics, that 80-20 overbought, oversold area. We're talking about a bit of a different scale now with the Commodity Channel Index. We got that plus 100 and that minus 100. Those are the areas above and below which we're overbought and oversold. So no difference in how we're using that overbought, oversold calculation, but the numbers are different, so it behooves us to know that. And as for, we always do, for my nerds out there that want to know the details of how the formula is derived, shout out to grade 11 advanced math, can't get that out of my mind. This is the formula right there. It's equal to the typical price minus the 20-period simple moving average of the typical price divided by a formula there. I'm not going to go more into it than that, but in case you're wondering what these different variables mean, the typical price in this particular case is defined as the following: the high plus the low plus the close divided by 3. So when you see typical price depicted right there, this is what it means, okay? And then the mean absolute deviation, which is the last part of that formula there, the mean absolute deviation is defined as the average absolute difference between the typical price and that 20-period simple moving average of the price. So the formula essentially was derived from the concept of standard deviation. So if you've ever taken statistics or finite, as I used to call it back in my dinosaur days, then you're familiar with the concept of standard deviation. It measures the dispersion of a data set around the mean. However, the CCI uses a modified version of that standard deviation called the mean absolute deviation, which is a little bit less sensitive to those outlying data points. So it gives you a cleaner look on the chart, okay? So now that we're done all the nerdy stuff, let's talk about how we actually use it IRL. So using CCI for trading, number one, you can identify those overbought and those oversold conditions much in the same way that we've done using RSI, money flow index, stochastics, and the like, okay? CCI can be used to identify potential reversal points when the market is set to be in that overbought or oversold condition. It also helps confirm trends, much like with RSI and the other oscillators that we've been talking about. A rising CCI confirms an uptrend, while a lowering, lower lows, lower highs on the CCI confirms the downtrend. But that isn't the last way we can use it. The one that I like the best, the one that the NOS boss pounds the table on, is identifying divergences between the CCI and the price. We'll talk about that in a second, but if you've watched the last few lessons, you know exactly what I'm talking about for identifying divergences. Let's go with the first one though, identifying those overbought and oversold conditions. Let's start with overbought. When the CCI reading rises again above 100, different scale for this one, it's indicating the market may be oversold. This is suggesting to you that prices have risen a little too quickly and may be due for that correction. Conversely, that oversold condition, this is when the CCI reading falls below that minus 100. So we've got a plus 100 above which we're overbought, minus 100 below which we're oversold, okay? And this is again suggesting to you that the prices have fallen a little too quickly and it may be due for a rebound. You got to note though, these levels are not absolute by any means and by any stretch of the imagination. They can vary depending on market conditions. So what may be overbought in a trending market may not be that same thing in a consolidative market. It's incumbent upon you to learn how to use the oscillator in different market conditions so you can make sure it jives with your trading plan. Again, we talked about yesterday the stochastics being in that overbought territory for a hot minute. Why? Because the D line was weaseling its way still in that neutral territory, not overbought. So even though the K line was above overbought, the D line didn't follow, and therefore we could have stayed in that overbought condition for a little bit longer. So it's a little bit different when you're using these in trending markets than in consolidative. So make sure you're sound with that. Okay. This is kind of what it looks like over here when we're in that oversold condition. We're below that minus 100. When we're in that overbought condition, we're above that plus 100. Super simple. Okay, and you can see over here what I want to mention was the commodity channel index allows you to use multiple variations of it. So these guys over here have used two. They got the 50-day and the 20-day. Gives them a bit of a different read. I wouldn't suggest you do that, as you're starting out. Really get to know it real well before you use different variations of it. So the second way we can use the commodity channel index is to identify divergences. So there's, let's talk about the bullish divergence first, okay? This occurs when the price makes a new low, but the CCI does not make a new low. In fact, it makes a higher low. So this is suggesting that the buying pressure is increasing and the potential reversal may be imminent. So what you're looking for here is the price to continue on the downward trend and breach those lows, but the CCI says, nah, I've had enough, and it puts in a higher low. So when you're deviating from the lows being printed on the price and the commodity channel index, it is time to be on the lookout for a potential reversal. By the other side of the token, the bearish divergence. This occurs when the price continues on its way making new highs, but the commodity channel index does not make a new high. In fact, it either equals the previous high or makes a lower high. And this is suggesting to you that the selling pressure is increasing and a potential reversal may be imminent. Again, this is what we're looking at over here. So I want you to look. So we're making lower lows on the actual price, and that's easy to see because every successive candle lower than its predecessor. However, when we look at that exact same area on the commodity channel index, we've got higher lows. Well, what happened after that higher low situation? Oh, that's right, the price went up. Same thing, okay? Same thing over here. You guys get the idea. This is price action indicator divergence. So how do you spot these divergences? What's the move? I'm going to suggest to you 3 steps. 1, identify a new high or new low on the price. So look at the price chart, ID that high, ID that low, whatever the trend is. That's step number 1. Then step number 2, you're going to weasel on over to the commodity channel index, usually at the bottom of your chart. And then you're going to see if the CCI has made a corresponding high or a corresponding low. In other words, is the pattern on the commodity channel index continuing to shadow the pattern that we're seeing on the price? If it is, then okay, it's confirming the trend. If it's not, there may be a reversal in whatever direction coming. So 3, kind of jumped the gun there. If there is a mismatch between the price action and the commodity channel index, a divergence may be occurring. That's the 3-step process. Super, super simple. But yesterday we talked about the stochastic oscillator, another momentum oscillator. So let's juxtapose the CCI and the stochastics. Number 1, both CCI and the stochastic oscillator are what we know as momentum oscillators that can be used to identify overbought and oversold conditions and potential reversals. However, there are some key differences. Am I doing it now? Okay. All right.
E-signal.
Yeah, sorry. 1 second. Yeah, ready to go.
Oh, okay.
It's VinFast.
Oh, VinFast.
All right, exciting news from VinFast, the electrifying story of 2024. Hold on to your seats. VinFast, Vietnam's EV trailblazer, just released its Q3 financial results, and here's why all the buzz is real. Number 1, Q3 deliveries skyrocketed by 115% year over year, with nearly 22,000 electric vehicles delivered. How about that revenue, though, Joseph? A solid $512 million, up 42% just from Q2 alone, and that's not all. Gross margins continue to improve by nearly 4,000 basis points as compared to Q2. So VinFast is now Vietnam's undisputed EV champion. After pivoting to a pure EV strategy just 2 years ago, they've zoomed past global bearings in the market, growing their retail sales in Vietnam by 159% quarter over quarter and an unbelievable 504% year over year in Q3. So what's next? VinFast definitely not slowing down. With Vietnam as its launchpad, the Vietnamese EV OEM continues to balance growth and cost optimization. And with new funding of $3.5 billion from its founder and parent company, they're definitely set to stay in the fast lane for its global expansion. Shout out to the good folks there at VinFast. We're almost done here on the lesson, so let's just kill it as we go over here. So again, CCI, stochastic oscillator, both momentum oscillators. How are they different? Number 1, the focus. The CCI focuses on the deviation of the price from the statistical mean, while the stochastic oscillator is focusing on the closing price relative to that high-low range. You'll call that from yesterday's lesson. Number 2, the calculation, fundamentally different. CCI is using a 20-period formula, while the stochastic oscillator uses that 3-period simple moving average on that percentage D line of the percentage K line. And the sensitivity, the CCI may be more sensitive to larger price swings, while that stochastic oscillator may be more sensitive to that shorter term price fluctuation. So just to conclude, guys, the commodity channel index is certainly a valuable tool in technical analysis that can provide you great insights into the market momentum and potential trading opportunities. But by understanding the relationship between CCI and other indicators like the stochastics, for example, traders can hopefully make more informed trading decisions. You know what I'm going to hit.
Hey, hit it.
I hope everybody
hit it.
Prints up a storm, Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I said in the chat, I don't know why I didn't come up on the positions board, so we'll get that sorted out. But I was long some Microsoft. I am now out. I mentioned earlier that it's kind of holding up against the overall market. So I was like, maybe we turn around, especially if Q's decided that it wanted to kind of bid back up and slowly recover and pull back. So I was looking for some relative strength within Microsoft. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So as you can see, it broke that key level. I told you I was out around 423.70s was going to be my out, and we got out at exactly there. So we'll just mark an L on that one, which is totally fine. A small loss. We didn't go too heavy. It seems to be the case that tech is, unless you're a bear, is not setting up for the bulls today as of right now. So I wouldn't rule anything out. Anything can happen. There's still a lot of time left within the day. But as of right now, it's looking like we're a little bit weak on the session in the tech sector. And it is in last place in the performing sector. So again, you know what I'm going to say here, guys. I'm not going to try to milk a stone. Especially if it's not working out. So that's okay. Because you know what we do have trending, and that's IBIT. So we'll look to get in on a pullback there. Sharif and I were talking, we're like, man, just wait. Like, we're going to keep our hands in our pockets for a little bit. But then it just continues to move, and then you start scratching your head a little bit, and you're like, But you don't want to chase it anyways. But there'll be an opportunity, I think, for us to size up on that one. But Juan Padilla asked me to look at Amazon for him, and we're going to do just that for you, my friend. So, yeah, I mean, it's just moving with the overall market here, right? I'm pretty sure Sharif mentioned that it's really correlated with Meta, but now they're breaking these significant support levels here. If we go back on the day, then you can see that we have some pivots here as well, too, where the price turned around. We're now testing those levels. So let's see if we can continue to, if they can continue to hold these levels, or it's going to break and then continue to possibly head to the south. So that's totally fine. We're going to bump the time frame up here on this one and see what it's looking like from a daily perspective. And I mentioned that it was entering the gap. As you guys can see, I do have this gap already marked out. So I don't know if I'll be participating in this one, but I'll definitely be looking forward to it. So let's keep that in mind. But again, this is totally healthy. It's not too far off its all-time highs, so there's nothing wrong with that at all, guys. So what's going on with the market is totally relatively healthy. So I mean, down 5% off those highs, which isn't anything to kind of freak out about. This is a company that I wish that I got involved with a long time ago when I had an opportunity to do so, and I didn't for some reason, but that's okay. Heard Sean talking about missed opportunities. There will always be missed opportunities, but again, you just have to be able to take advantage of the next one. So yeah, there one. I think, I don't know if you're swinging any positions or you have any options positions or anything along those lines, but I think for the long term, you're going to be sitting in a pretty spot if you do have some equity in that company. So yeah, I mean, we're starting to slowly pull back here now, guys. Just a little bit. I do kind of like where Google's sitting on top of this range. I don't want to mess around with it just yet, but I'll pull up Google for you guys. As you can see, I like Microsoft. It didn't really sell off with some of the other tech stocks like NVDA, Advanced Money Destroyer, and some of the other ones. So, well, it's living up to its name.
I know, bro. Obi had a great short on that.
Yeah, great short. It's unfortunate that it's living up to its name, but again, it's how it is. So let's see if we can get some volume to step in here, guys, on Google, and then maybe we can take it for a long. But as of right now, I'm kind of just scratching my head a little bit. As you know, I had my Microsoft trade that didn't work out, and that's totally fine. But yeah, I don't know if the ship has sailed on IBIT for the session. Let's see if we can get a pullback and then maybe continue to move. But as of right now, it's just slowly grinding higher and higher. So I don't know if any sellers are going to step in. It's a really, really strong session so far. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But Sharif, I think if we get any pullback towards VWAP, I think I'm going to look to participate in this one for sure.
I love it, homie. All right, let's talk about the umpteen amount of small cap gappers we got today, guys. Let's have a look at them right here on the chart. Wowzers, there's a lot going on, and none of them are really giving up the ghost quite yet. So let's pack our patience and have a look at what we can trade on the day. So as you see, I'm already involved in a couple of VWAP retracements. The first one, API, because it's hanging out at VWAP, going to give it tight stop below the low of this candle over here. And then same thing with Fate. We're going to give it to a little bit below $3. The only reason we're in this, because they were moving up, they're pulling back into VWAP. I'm looking for them to hold up on VWAP. No more to the trade than that. Simple as that. But let's talk about the big boy on the block. Holy, there's another one coming up here. What is going on? Okay, so there's another one showing up over here. ABVE, ABV. Oh, no, above food ingredients. Okay, so who are we going to get rid of here, Joseph? We're running out of room, brother. I don't even know which one to get rid of. Oh, my goodness. Okay, we're going to have to take off this one. What the hell is it? ABVE. Okay. ABVE. There we go. All right, so let's talk first and foremost about VCIG, because I told Farm Trader we'd look at that one. I'm going to keep my word. So, oops, ABVE, there we go. What is going on? All right, ABVE, there we go. All right, we got it. We'll get it. Now, let's look at VCIG. So I like this one. Farm Trader, I do like the fact that it broke and took 4. Here's my look on it, though. This is a bit of a hold-up candle. We make the new high, 467 on this candle, but it's currently red. It's got another 2 minutes. I like this at $4. All right. I like it $4 for a couple of reasons. One, it's a whole dollar level, psychological support, previously resistance. It's also a couple of shekels above the 10 exponential, and I want this to weasel in a little bit closer to that 10 exponential moving average, which is the green line on my chart. It's on the 5-minute chart, by the way, for anybody listening. I like it in and around there a little bit more. Yeah, you may not get that, though. So like with a lot of these, like with IMG yesterday, you had to chase it. It didn't give you a moving average pullback. We did decently on IMG, then we gave it back because we kept chasing it. So the reason why I don't like to chase them, because you end up giving back a bit. Anyway, a candle of indecision right now as it currently stands on VCIG. Let's pack our patience and see what this one wants to give us. I like it, though. ABVE is the one that I kind of interrupted myself and started talking about. This now is, I believe, is it halted? Yes, this one is halted to the downside. So you've often heard me, wax esoteric about these $1 trades and how they're fundamentally different, north of $1 and south of $1. Well, there you go. You got a $1 breach into 103, and then quick as you like, we're halted to the downside below $1 at 80 pennies. So don't fall in love with the story or the price action. Trade the technicals. These ones are around for a good time, not a long time, typically. Okay, so ABVE halted to the downside. It's a sub $1 stock, hence why I didn't really have eyes on it to begin. Now I'm in IREN over here as it did dip into 12 into the 10 exponential. So now let me throw in my stop on this one. So we're going to have to go over like that, and then we're going to give it to over here, Joseph. So that's going to be the look there. Let's set up some possible beak wetters on IREN if this one wants to pump back up. Otherwise, we're going to get stopped out anywhere below the 80s or below the 90s. So it's going to have to hold this general 12 area, which is also the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 on IREN. That's why I'm in it right now. It had to pull in back into the 12. I didn't want to punch in at the third of $1. That was too high. Now, if my position on IREN goes to poop, I'm very interested in reigniting this trade at around 11 3/4 or 11 2/3. How come? Because that's where the volume weighted average price is. If it dips into VWAP, being up 25% on the day, I'll get in just like I did with the API, just like I did with Fate, and we'll see what Fate brings us with these trades. So that's what I'm looking at right now. It's a small cap gapper type of day. And, you know, I'm not going to mind that all that much. All right, let's weasel back over here to Fate. Fate's okay. How's my friend API doing? Well, it's holding VWAP underline for now. So I'm looking at wetting my beak at 69s. Obviously, if you've seen me trade, you know I'm going to have an order at 69. And then I'm looking at front running the size at the $0.75 area. So I put it at 74s here on API, up 20% or thereabouts. Let's wait for that 69 print. We're showing 68s right now on the ask. However, the spread's a little wide. Well, not wide. It's 2 pennies, so it's going to have to cross for me to get filled, Joseph. So that's what we're looking at right now. A bunch of small cap.
Yeah, it seems to be, man, because the tech isn't so hot right now. So if there's other things that are hot within the field, then definitely stick to it. Because I can tell you one thing right now. The Qs and the SPY are looking pretty ugly. Faye, I don't know what's going on with my positions board. I punched in and punched out a couple times, and it's not popping up. So if you can check that out for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Because, yep. So again, guys, I'm over here looking at Google. It's looking like it might break down here. So you know what, Sharif? I think I'm gonna look to participate in this here, maybe. I don't necessarily want to short the thing, but I think the price action, sometimes you just got to listen to the price action, and it's telling me to do so. So again, we have a definitive out. There we go. Okay, perfect. So now we're live again here, guys. So yeah, let's see if we can get this breakdown on Google. Then that'll be good. But again, I'm just waiting to see. The tech sector is weak, so I'm just trying to follow the price action and see where the weakness is. So we're going to hold on to this one, guys. Someone said Rivian calls in the chat. Let's take a look at Rivian. Not the biggest fan of this stock, but we'll take a look. Yeah. Is that a good?
What's going on? Everything good?
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he said, you don't hear what he's saying in my ear?
No, he's talking to you.
Okay, all right.
Talking to you,
specifically, yeah, he likes that. Okay, anyways. Hey, guys. Yeah, it's all funny. It's good time here, man. Yeah, Rivian calls. It depends where you're going to get in at and how much you're going to pay. What kind of like momentum, or no, I shouldn't say momentum, but kind of longevity, what kind of duration you're looking to put on this. I don't know if this is a stock I'd be looking to own for the long term. Maybe let it sit on top of this range here, and then maybe look to participate. But guys, just keep in mind when you're trading options and the stock isn't moving specifically in your direction as fast as you would like, then time decay is just going to chew up the value of the contract, and then you'll be scratching your head on why you didn't make any money when it moved in your favor. It just took too long. So yeah, but yeah, we'll talk some more options and stuff like that right after we get back from Madeira.
What we're going to do here is take a look at some of these outstanding performers here in the S&P 500 to the upside and the downside, as we always do around this 11:20, 11:30 a.m. period. It is worth noting, too, make sure you take the chance to vote for your tickers of choice. In our poll, there are 4 options. This poll will close at 12:30, at which point a new poll will open up with 4 more stocks. And the top 5 of these 8 will be featured in a rundown at 2 p.m., where you'll get Sharif gesticulating wildly here in the screen as Obi and Sean today go over the top tickers there. So let's take a look here at some of these tickers. I like the theme for this segment. I usually like to have it kind of have a theme. So we're gonna look at today are names that are actually sharply up on the day as the market is sharply down. What's interesting is none of these have really strong catalysts. We have Target, which is up almost about 2.5% right now here for TGT. Looks like this is just strength as we head into the holiday season with Black Friday on watch. So it looks like just some retail strength here for TGT. Dollar Tree also strong there today as well. Then we have ULTA, which is up about 4.5%, getting its outperform rating and $450 price target maintained by Telsey Advisory Group. And last but not least, you have Agilent up here on a price target decrease. We actually have Barclays dropping their price target to 135 while maintaining an underweight rating, but Agilent's still up here about 3%. It's worth noting this is also earnings day 2 for A, which is the ticker for this one, so could be a bit of a bounce here for Agilent. Guys, lots to look at.
Appreciate that, Adara. Thank you very much. And just for the record, I will be gesticulating wildly today. I didn't yesterday, because she was off, but today I will be.
Hey.
So that's kind of how it's going to go there, Joseph. All right, guys, we wet our beak on some profits here on API. It's holding VWAP, but look, I don't know if we're going to get the kind of parabolic effect that we're used to with some of these small cap gappers. This one seems to be, more akin to a snail than a rocket ship here. So look, we'll continue to put out the orders and follow the technicals. But right now, I don't have a whole lot of faith in this one really becoming like an explosive stock and taking out 6. So I'm going to layer my orders a little bit above that 75 area, Joseph. We're going to set up another little beak wetter there if it's possible to do. And we're going to sit at 82s because I like that number. All right, so that we're doing that. Now, IREN, I had a dip trade in the 12 on this one, and so far, not bad. I don't want to say good. It's so far not bad. What we need, though, is a break and take of that third. I like the 12 defend. 12 was an area of not just psychological resistance because it's a whole dollar level, but it was price action. That was right at the opening range there, right at 9.50 into that 10 o'clock area. We got off the schneid, as my friend Neil likes to say, at that 10 to third, worked up into 12, rejected 12, dipped down again into 11 and a third, and then we went on our merry way to make higher highs. So there we go. We just took a bit of a beak wetter there. Nice. Let's see if we can get the next beak wetter. I'm waiting at 18s, and that will require me to throw out more beak wetters over here. We're going to throw some at 23. Shout out to Jordan, the OG. We'll see how we do on that one. All right, how's my API trade doing? Okay, we're weaseling on over to 74. We're showing 73s here on what's going on with you, bro? It's like me fist pumping over here.
Bro.
You all right?
It's just pumping, man. It's going right.
Joseph is he's inconsolable in a good way right now because IBIT is back up again.
I want more.
Yeah, I know. Same with me, bro.
Yeah,
Same
I
with
want
me.
more, man.
Preaching to the
That's
choir,
right.
man. Yeah, we're kind of both in the same boat there. We kind of want IBIT obviously to go up over time, but we want to get more. So in the short term, we're looking for a bit of a decrease. Bitcoin not looking at like it's going to give us too much more. So we'll keep eyes on that, and we'll cover Bitcoin as it goes. So right now, waiting for the next beak wetter, possibly on API. I did add to Fate, hopefully. Yeah, I could make so many different pun jokes with this one, but we're just going to leave those for now. Fate, I added over here at 3 to defend the whole dollar level. I've moved up my stop, though, initially from that 296 area, so it's really going to have to defend 3. Otherwise, I want nothing to do with it. And those are the 3 trades that I have on at the moment. We'll see how they all do. Joseph, what's your look?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of as I'm shaking my head at IBIT, I just kind of pushing and pulling on myself, saying I want a little bit more. But I'm also just talking to myself saying, why am I trying to short strong stocks? Yeah, so I don't know. It's just not my forte. It's just not what I usually tend to do, especially when, and I just want to point out on this entry too, guys, I'm buying the bottom, I'm selling the bottom of the ranges. So therefore, it's not the best RVR, right? Like I have to give myself a little bit more room on these. And I'm anticipating the breakout, and if it doesn't come, then you're going to get squeezed. And this is honestly looking like a bullish pattern. If I were to be buying where I was selling, I'd be sitting in a lot better position as Google goes and sits on top of this range now with a 5-minute candle. And I don't know if I really want to flip my bias on this just because of how choppy this asset is throughout the session. But again, it's looking like it wants to break out. And when you have a 5-minute candle sitting on top of the range like it is right now, it is a good signal that it can potentially break out. And as I'm talking to you guys about it, it's doing just that. So that's one that we missed out on, guys. So we're gonna go 0 on the session. We messed up a little bit on Microsoft. And then now Google here. So I was just saying to Sharif, and I mentioned this before, why am I fighting tooth and nail with things that aren't really moving? And then when we can look to participate in some things like IBIT that essentially haven't looked back on the session. So you had the one test of VWAP on IBIT. And then again, it's just moving higher and higher here. And so I think Rob EV in the chat said 100K. He's just asking us, do you think IBIT or Bitcoin can hit 100K by the end of the weekend? And I said I wouldn't rule it out. This was kind of my thesis on Bitcoin. It's either the fact that this is somewhat of just like a pullback, some profit taking, maybe from the short side. Wouldn't even call it, but it's either the underlying asset is so strong that it's not going to pull back any deeper, and then it just continues. That's the only breath you're going to get from it, and then it just continues higher and higher. And as of right now, this looks like the latter of that is looking to be the case. So again, a little bit of time will tell, but if this thing decides that it wants to put in a session and fully recover, it can go and test all-time highs like relatively quick. So yeah, that's looking to continue to move higher. IBIT is, and I'll just pull up my Google one more time because I knew I should have been long this thing instead of short. So again, that's okay. You can't win them all, unfortunately, and you just learn from those mistakes, especially when you know from just instinct and experiences. Like this looks like we could potentially go a little bit higher on this one. So that's one that I missed out on, but there'll always be another.
Does Bitcoin trade on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I don't think it stops, man, because it's only,
It never stops. So
yeah,
it doesn't stop. Period. There's no Christmas. There's nothing. Right?
It doesn't stop.
Yeah. Well.
It doesn't
okay,
stop.
guys, we're at 96,360 right now. I'm gonna look. We got a poll. We got a fantastic poll, so we can't throw up another one. But I wanted to put a poll. Who thinks Bitcoin takes 100,000 over the Thanksgiving weekend? Man, I didn't think that we would even be knocking the door. We're knocking on the door of 97, Joseph.
Yeah.
We're at 91 and change overnight. What did we get? 92, 91?
Yeah, we were 92. Okay. So where do you stand on that? Where would you place your vote? Is Bitcoin going to be over 100K by the end of the weekend?
End of the weekend. What are you giving me? You're giving me till Sunday?
I'll give you till Sunday, 12 a.m.
Yes. I'm going to say yes.
Right? Yeah. Over 100K.
Against my desires, obviously, because I want to add. What's that, Ram?
Bet on.
Bet on something. She wants to see blood constantly.
She wants to see blood, yeah. She wants to see that.
Look, yeah, we could do something
but how
like
are we going to bet on something if we both agree on this thing?
Yes, way to stifle Ram. If we both lose, she stands to gain, despite the fact that she threw no skin in the game. What's your skin in the game, Ram?
What do you want?
Yeah, what
do we get if we...
No, come on, Ram. You got to give us more than that. She's like, look, if you guys win, you guys win. If you lose, you lose. But I win either way.
Yeah, so it's
yeah,
win-win.
She didn't say it like that.
It's like a win-win.
It's not Ram now. It's win-win. Get it, Ram.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation.
Yes, sir. All right. Look, I think it breaks 100,000 by the weekend. I thought it would retrace a bit more aggressively. We talked about the technicals this morning.
Sharif, there's only one way we can truly figure this out. There's only one way, and the answer is yes, definitely. So that is it. End of conversation. Over 100K. The 8-ball has spoken.
It has spoken, Joseph. And you know what else is speaking right now?
Ooh.
VCI dang G. Here we go. This is going to halt. It looks like it's going to halt to the upside. I am not involved in this. I wanted to get in at 4. It's at 558. Oh, look, dude, it's gotta follow my trading plan. It didn't give me that move down into the 10 exponential, nor did it give me that $4 hold, nor was it at anywhere that was a previous area of resistance, now support. So VCIG, the big boy on the day, 212% at day's high, 5 2/3. It behooves me to give you the details on this one because it looks like we may have to trade this after all. $25 million market cap. 137 million shares traded on the day with a float of around 30 million shares, a little bit more. Let's talk about the short float and look at trade ideas for that data, knowing it could be up to 2 weeks old. So we got a negligible short float here on VCIG. But I got to tell you, the data coming from trade ideas fundamentally different than what I'm seeing on my platform. Trade ID is saying 1 million share float. I'm seeing 30.144. So I'm not sure what to make of that. Was there a reverse split? Let me have a look. Yes, there was. There was one on the 5th of this month. That's why we are seeing that. So I don't think Trade Ideas is updated. So I think my platform is right, being that 30 million share float. The short float, though, if Trade Ideas is accurate here, 0.18, negligible. Nothing really to account for there. VCIG. So it looks like it's going as a result of the float there. Now, what is the move here? Why is it moving up? VCI Global receives conditional letter of award for a $24 million US dollar AI contract. Say less. Say contract. and say AI, the market likes that.
I was just about to say, like, I swear, a couple years ago, if you had AI in any whatever your description is, just buy the stock. I'm pretty sure a coffee shop had AI as their name.
Was it like a coffee?
Yeah, it was like a coffee shop, right? And then
That's hilarious, bro.
And the stock. But Sharif,
yes, sir.
Did I buy? So this is from Pretty Panda.
Go.
Did I buy 1,000 shares of CCIG at 256? Yes, I did. Did I sell it all before it went to 3? Absolutely. So there you go.
I like the answering and the questioning of yourself there. It sets up for effect. I love it. I love it. Look, Pretty, man, did you make money, dude? Did you follow your trading plan? Did you execute well in the technicals? I think the answer to all those is yes. So this is what you get for that, man. You get the money spin. The fact of the matter is you're always going to be angry as a trader. You're never going to have the bottom. You're never going to have the top. And if you do, you'll complain about not having enough size. So that's kind of the situation we all have to live with as traders. You are perennially dissatisfied. Guys, VCIG halted the upside now. This thing is rocketing up 269%. This is a big boy mover. It's halted at 661, and I'm going to give you guys the tap in a hot second here, assuming that there is one. VCIG, let's find out. We got a tap of 661 right at the area where it's halted, so nothing doing now. We'll have to wait and see whether this will be a 5 or a 10 or a 50-minute halt. Has this one halted prior? No. So this one, the first halt on the day, just so you understand, the closing print on this stock yesterday was $1.76. We're taking 660 right now. This thing's a monster. Be careful trading it. We're going to talk more about that when we get back from the big desk with the human algo Adara.
What we're going to do here is take a look at some earnings names, as we always do around this time of the day. Some names that are in day one earnings. We had Dell, which is very much to the downside after missing on revenue, though they did beat on EPS. But I think CrowdStrike may be the more interesting report here to talk about. CRWD, they beat on EPS, they beat on sales here, but their guidance was a little bit mixed. They had pretty strong across the board guidance for their fiscal 2025, but for Q4, revenue, the lower end of both their EPS range and their revenue range for their guidance actually missed estimates. They did, though, it's worth noting, actually of their first billion-dollar quarter apparently for revenue, they beat, like I said, beat across the board 29% year-over-year increase in revenue and 27% year-over-year increase in annual recurring revenue. The strong report across the board for CRWD. We did get a downgrade here from HSBC, but it's worth noting every other analyst note I saw for CrowdStrike was actually positive or raising the price target. So then we have SYM. This is not a earnings report. Symbotic here pulling a little bit of a Macy's or an SMCI and actually delaying their earnings results, saying that they're no longer going to be able to file their annual report for fiscal 2024 at this time, saying that they have to take some time to assess the financial impacts regarding their revenue recognition errors. I guess they were not recognizing revenue appropriately due to some cost overrun concerns. So SYM, in addition to having this delay, they also have cut their fiscal Q1 2025 guidance and then also getting a downgrade here from D.A. Davidson. So a bit of a rough look for Symbotic. Next week actually is quite a few earnings. Off the top of my head, I know we're going to be getting Ulta Beauty earnings. We're going to be getting Lululemon earnings. We'll also be getting reports from UiPath, so there's going to be a lot to check out there next week. Both Dollar Tree and Dollar General as well. So if you're looking for retail names around Black Friday, lots of earnings next week on the horizon, guys. Back to you.
Appreciate that, Adara. Yeah. Thank you.
As always.
Yeah, that crowd earnings was interesting. You spoke about it pretty much accurately yesterday, and both you and I were kind of predicting that whether it was going to be a beat or not. There's usually a bit of profit taking with these high beta names. Absolutely. It's always these cybersecurity names. Pandub sold off after, got bowed up. CrowdStrike, kind of the same look there.
Yeah, exactly.
They're both best in class.
And I mean, a lot of analysts have outperforms on it as well too. So I mean, and they raised full year 25 guidance, I'm pretty sure as well too. So just keep in mind, like BMO has a price target of 380 in my notes here. The one and only mega tech bull himself, Dan Ives, has. If anybody's bullish on tech, it's without a doubt it's him. So yeah, but they all have an outperform on that. So on CrowdStrike. So yeah, I like the company, I like the stock, but as of right now, it's recovered pretty well from that report. So just keep an eye out on CrowdStrike. It's not the best intraday trader, a little spready, but when you have a earnings report, then you can maybe get a little more liquidity going into it. But again, it's just something. It's one of those that you just want to hold in the long-term portfolio, and not so much. Thanks, Sebastian. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's not something that you want to be trading day in and day out from an intraday standpoint. But I seen something else in the chat. Joe Shreve, yeah, thanks. We appreciate you too, Pretty Panda. But yeah, guys. So this was just the ultimate shake and bake on Google here. So it pumped up. The volume, the breakout volume never really stepped in. So as you can see, guys, here, from this key resistance level, once we broke it on the lower time frames, the volume never stepped in. So then this gave the ability for the bears to start pushing the price down. So I'm glad that I didn't flip my bias necessarily on this and go for that breakout and get hit with that fake breakout, even though you would have got maybe an out or two on this one, but then it would have just came back to your break-even stop, or you would have accumulated a loss on it if you didn't cut it break even, right? So just keep that in mind. So I'm glad that I didn't flip bias on that one. So I said to Sharif off screen, I'm just like, man, why am I like trying to short these strong stocks, overall strong stocks? Why don't I just stick to what's strong? So I decided to get into a little IBIT here on any pullback that it's providing. So we'll see if this can continue to work out. I didn't put too much size on it, just because of how extended we are from VWAP, and the market looks like it wants to take another leg down. So if we're wrong on this one, we do have a little bit more room on it. I'll get out at 54.5s, so I'll give it about 25 cents or so. But if we're wrong, that's totally fine, and then we go 0 for 3. But sometimes that just happens on the session, especially when you've been trading half decent. So sometimes the market just needs to breathe, and not everything is going to work all the time. So don't try to force anything. If it doesn't work all the time, then that's totally understandable, and it's totally. I haven't said this in a while. It's a part of the game. So yeah. So it's definitely it is. So guys, just don't get too frustrated. Just take deep breaths, relax a little bit, and then eventually, maybe not today, but tomorrow, something may work out. That's it. And one of my favorite fighters, Brandon Moreno, he said, maybe I won't be champion, maybe not today, but one day I will be champion. And sure enough, he spoke those words.
When is the heavyweight fight? Usyk is fighting Fury again, right?
Fury. I didn't know. I didn't even really look into see.
Yeah. That's man. I don't know how you feel, but like I feel like the last maybe 5 years we got back into that gold. I don't want to call it the golden age of the heavyweight division, because it was a hot minute, 20 years. Yeah. I'd say the last real undisputed heavyweight champion, Lennox Lewis.
Yeah,
right? And
absolutely.
then he lost. Well, he didn't lose. He gave it up to Vitaly Klitschko there, and then you had the Klitschkos dominating for a hot minute.
And then AJ beat. AJ beat the Klitschko.
AJ was good.
Yeah, he was all right. I mean, you can't disrespect him. I mean, from that era, there's the one thing that frustrates me with boxing, and that's why I kind of just wish, like the Saudis or somebody just comes and buys all the organizations.
Turkey.
You know what I mean? Just go and buy everything. Yeah. Because Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder would have been the greatest heavyweight fight of all time, but now they're in the latter half of their careers. So yeah, anyways. Yeah. So that's unfortunate. Where did you trade prior to coming to? Oh, okay, yeah, we'll talk about that later. I traded at home before this, Nick W, I think, or Nick 23. But yeah, so yeah, guys, we're still holding on to IBIT. I do think this thing's going to be strong for the vast majority, or a big part of the session here. So I was just trying to buy any dip on this thing. So I don't know if we're going to curl over just yet. Shreve mentioned that we were tapping 97 almost at some point, so we're just under 96 right now. And if it decides that it wants to put in a major session, just always be aware of, and I like that Wayne pointed this out to me, is the volatility skew on Bitcoin. So as you start to appreciate in price, you'll see the volatility start to pick up, opposed to kind of from an equity standpoint. You'll notice that the VIX and volatility picks up in bearish sentiment. So it's kind of the inverse of that on Bitcoin. So you'll see the larger days on Bitcoin, so that can kind of explain the volatility skew. And if it does want to put in a really big session, expect it to, and it can put in those like 10K plus days.
Yes, sir. Okay. Guys, VCIG's been doing the dance. Look, this might be an interesting area to get in. I never want to ever recommend an area to trade with these type of names because the bottom can drop off at any time. But I like how it came in. Again, I'm going to keep harping on this until, you know, I'm red in the face or blue in the face or whatever the expression is. But I use the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart as an informal gauge of overbought conditions for these small cap gappers. When we get far away, extended away from the 10 on the 5, these things have a way of reverting back close to the 10. And this case, no different. And there we go, 661 HOD, all the way down, 515. It doesn't come back into 5. It doesn't even come back into the 10, but it holds up generally there. Now, we may whiffle and waffle at this level. By no means do we got to shoot back up and print a new high a day above 6 3/4. But this is an interesting area to get in. And the beautiful part about it holding up here, you can use $5 and or the 10, because they're almost one and the same at this level, as your stop. It breaches the 10, that's it. Then you look at 375 VWAP for the dip trade. So I'm not going to get involved in it because I missed it there at 520, 535. It's breaching now into that 5 2/3, 5 3/4. But that would have been an interesting area to get in on VCIG. But manage risk. Again, if you're going to get into these ones, for the love of God, please manage risk. Have an account to join us on Monday or on Friday when we do our show from home. Can't wait for that. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the look there. All right, Joseph, let's talk about some of these trades that we have on. 4 beak wetters right now on IREN. Not the biggest mover on the day, but predictable in where I got it. That $12 defend, and I've wet my beak all the way up into 24s there. Next level, I'm looking to front run 30 because that's the high of the day. So I've got to front run the size there. So IREN, IREN up 27% and still going at these levels. Now, Fate. Somebody was asking me, Sharif, there's a double top on Fate. Why are you trading Fate? Because it went into VWAP and it's defending. So I get that the 322 HOD is shadowing the high from yesterday, but that doesn't negate the fact that VWAP held up. I still haven't wet my beak on anything. 312, the first possible out there. API, 3 outs on this one, setting up my next beak wetter in the high to mid 80s. I want to see this one again come back in and test 6. So we'll see what these ones do, but all of them right now, not so bad, but not so great either. No. There's no money storm there.
Yeah, I like it, man.
They're not bad, but they're not the greatest. Like, I mean, VCIG would have been big boy at that 5 1/4 and went up to 575. Yeah, that would have been the storm, but I missed that one, Joseph.
Tornado.
Oh, I like that. All right, Sebastian, I saw you there in the chat asking me earlier. I responded. He's like, look, what's your look on Snapchat? So I've got my thoughts on Snap.
Snap score.
Oh, bro, I'll find out right now. I haven't opened the. Okay, well, that's a lie, Joseph. I opened the app, but I haven't used the app in a really long time. So my Snap score. All right, I got to go over here. Where's it at?
2 million.
No, bro, it's not even close. 4,366.
Oh, man.
I'm a complete amateur.
It's like a desert. It's like a desert out. It's like a borderline
look,
desert.
bro, look.
Wasteland.
I see the high schoolers at the gym using Snap, so I already feel bad enough having it on my phone.
Yeah.
Nah, my Snap score sucks.
Well, I don't have Instagram or TikTok, right? So that's kind of just what I've always had was Snapchat. So that's where I doom scroll, and that's why I deleted it the other day.
I know you told me about that. I doom scroll on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's where I found out that I don't know. Nobody's reacted to this in the chat. Does nobody know the viral video going around of Barron Trump right now when he was a kid? Ram's telling me in my ear. She's like, no. She was telling Fabian about it. Fabian had no idea. There's a kid video of him when he's with his moms, right? Whatever her name is, Donald Trump's Melania. Thank you, Ram. And he's in his dad's office. It was like 2016.
He's like, no drugs.
Yeah, that's the video. But he's like, I like my suitcase. And he's like, got a little bit of an accent because his mom has an accent when he was young. Now he doesn't have it, right? It's hilarious. Anyway, so shout out to Barry Trump.
Dude's like 6'7" or something. No?
He's a monster, bro. He towers over everybody.
And
people were talking about him actually being instrumental in the election. He was the one that told Donald go on the Neckle Boys
and go on Joe.
Joe.
Yeah,
I don't know about if he was the one that told Joe. Joe's kind of, but he was like the younger for the younger pods and stuff like that.
Sure.
They were saying he was instrumental anyway. So Baron Trump doing things.
The Neckle
What's your look, Joseph?
The Neckle Boys, isn't it the Nelk Boys?
Nelk, I don't know.
Those guys are from Toronto too, eh? Did you know that?
I'm so.
they're Toronto. They're Toronto guys.
One of them, I think, or all of them from Toronto.
I think all of them are from Toronto. More, obviously they've grown since then, but yeah, they are from Toronto. But yeah, I mean, hey guys, we're just here sitting in this grind in IBIT. There was a question. Sorry, I went away from it now. Someone in the chat asked me, do I like to use indicators or do I like to use kind of level 2 in time and sales? I think when you first start off early in your trading journey, you do kind of experiment a lot with indicators and stuff, but then you come to realize that what will work for you is you want to find what works for you, I should say. So again, I use the volume weighted average price and the time and sales, volume, time and sales and price action are my key metrics that I always keep an eye on. There is some things that I do like. I used to trade on Camarilla pivot points. I think that's one of the top indicators out there, in my opinion, because there's no subjectivity to it. It's not like Fibonacci where you like place it from whatever pivot low or et cetera, whatever you want. They're preset pivots. And once you really know how to understand those, then it can really help your trading game and understand where breakout territories are and where breakdown territories are, potential reversal areas as well too. So that's one of my favorite. So when I'm always at home doing my analysis at home, I definitely always keep an eye on those from a time frame from 5 minutes all the way up to the daily, so you can see it from a monthly perspective. And then when you really spend some screen time looking at them, the accuracy on these are absolutely amazing, and so they're one of my favorites. So, but as of that, I just like to stick to VWAP, price action, and see what the book is telling me as well too. So when the book gets stacked up, then we like to have some fun with that. So yeah, I mean, other than that, guys, we're going to continue to hold on to this IBIT position here. Google's just chopping around. So again, if you're range trading, I know a lot of people do like to do that, just trade the ranges, which is totally fine. And in this case, it's going to work out really nice for you because again, that we had this false breakout, and then if you had the ability to buy in around these lows, then you can just continue to do that. So good luck there on that one. So let's see if Google can start breaking out potentially. But again, if it comes and tests these lows, then maybe I'll look to buy some of the support levels because I do like kind of how it's trading in this range. Let's see if the market can start to recover as well too. The Qs are slowly starting to turn around here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
So let's see if NVDA can start picking up some steam in the overall market as well too.
Absolutely. I haven't even had a look at the MEG today, but I want to let everybody know, in case you haven't joined us in a while, we got a new way to vote for your favorite tickers. Have Obi, have Sean look at them for you during that afternoon rundown between 2 and 2:30. Ram, let's show them the poll here. We already have almost 1,200 votes, and this one isn't even close, Joseph. Tesla taking the cake by a margin. 57% of the votes right now coming in for the Cybertruck. Second is IBIT. I thought IBIT would give them a bit more of a run for their money.
So did I.
Yeah, IBIT, well, with Bitcoin moving back up over here. So IBIT with 18%. Then Advanced Money Destroyer with 16%. And then last place, we got Crowd. I guess people were not really interested in Crowd.
It's not the hot intraday guy, but we thought maybe.
No, it's not. You're right. It's more of a whatever, kind of a hold situation there. So get into the chat, guys. I'd love for you guys to get the votes up. I think we had 1,500 votes on Monday, or what, I don't know if it was Friday. Let's see if we can beat that today. We'll get back. We'll talk some more when we get back from Madeira.
Make sure you vote for those tickers in the chat, whatever ticker you voted for. For the record, I am probably one of the few people there who did actually vote for CrowdStrike. So whatever you're looking at, make sure you get your votes in. We're going to take a look here at the markets. The Qs pretty significantly underperforming the S&P 500 here. SPY down by almost 0.5%. Qs down by 1.25% here today. So we have a lot of underperformance in some of these mega cap names like NVIDIA and Tesla. We also here have on the other side of the coin, some strength early on, at least in Chinese ADRs, as there are some rumors of an additional stimulus coming into there. We also have a lot of crypto strength. We're going to talk about that in a minute here, as Bitcoin is pretty strong heading into Thanksgiving and tomorrow's market holiday. We've got Dell here, DELL, down about 13% on earnings. They beat on earnings per share, but they missed on sales. And it's worth noting, though, even though they missed, their revenue actually, apparently in the services sector, was up 58% year over year. So not a bad report from Dell, but I guess not what the street was looking for. Then we have MSTR, which is definitely making some lower highs and lower lows, but still up about 7% in tandem with the strength that we've had right now in BTC. So keep an eye on all of these crypto names. I know Ripple, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, all really strong as well. Back to you guys.
Yeah, some of those altcoins are still going, bro.
They're still going. Like, who's buying dog with hat?
Well, I told you about my buddy. I don't even want to call him my buddy.
Yeah. From the gym.
Yeah, acquaintance from the gym. I was talking. I told this story when Sateo was on, but he's there's this. I'm not even going to mention the name of the coin because I don't even want to pump it.
Yeah.
But like, I'm expecting this guy to disappear. He's going to get like kidnapped or something. Because
it's been happening to those people in Toronto, so.
It's not a good look, man. And he's like, yo, the group, we're working really hard. We're putting all our efforts. What are you doing, bro? I haven't heard any description of what your coin is about other than that you're doing a lot of work. And he's in Dubai, and you could just tell it's a pump and dump scheme. The rug pull is coming. I hate to watch it.
Yeah.
But like, I'm actually following it because I want to be able to document this whole thing
and see what's going on.
Yeah. Guys, VCIG is flying, Joseph. Here we go again. Here comes 760 Ram high of the day. This thing is on one. 326%. Here comes $8, and here I am trading the ones that are not moving. So, this one is just, it's hard to manage risk, but there's all the profitability right now. VCIG really flying here, and it did hold the 10 exponential to a dank T, so I've got no excuse other than the fact that I didn't trade this because I was distracted. But this one's really going here. 772 HOD coming back into 7. There is some price action support at around 6 mid to high 80s based upon the high of the previous candle that closed at 1155. This one's really going, though. I would just personally wait until you can get it off the 10 exponential. It did give you that opportunity. I did miss it, but it is still continuing to go. And another one that is continuing to do well, it was a multiple halter in the early trades. Sean mentioned this one, SOS. Brendo mentioned this one as well in early trading. Beautiful curl back up here after, halting multiple times. It's kind of calmed down a little bit now. Looks like all the volatility is with VCIG, but SOS putting in a respectable pattern here, holding above VWAP, and then look at this. Since it reclaimed that VWAP on the gap up at around 1030, been very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. There is a level of note here that we need to account for, this previous halt level at around 1380. As you can see, it's been used as a level of resistance, not just at the 1125 candle, but the current candle that we're on right now. I use these halt levels as intraday areas of support and resistance. It's taking it out right now. Here we go. SOS is breaking out as we speak. It just took 14, 1420, 1428. Here it goes. It's 1493 HOD. The volatility on these small cap gappers is here. It's in vogue. It looks, I thought it was going to halt at 1429. No, it's going. There we go. Another high, 1450. This is really going here on SOS. 1465. It's going to take out the high of the day. It took out the high of the day, Joseph. 15. Here we go. SOS. Someone help me. It's not healthy. 1511 looks like it's going to halt here, Joseph. Let's see if this one wants to halt at 1511. Ram. It took out that high at 1494. It's got to hang out at 1511 for 10 seconds, and then we'll see if we get that halt. It is halted. SOS. Halted. Oh, there's a lot of small cap gappers today, man. It's a lot of fun.
I'm over here just looking at some percentage metrics on the Qs to see how much we are off the all-time highs, guys. So you can see those numbers displayed on the chart there. So we're down about 2.67% from the all-time highs. Well, my good friend, the SPY, made a quiet all-time high yesterday. So we'll pull that up for you guys here. We'll pull that up for you guys here real quick because someone in the chat was saying, Joe, SPY long this morning, and I said, you know what? Like XLF was really strong. Some of the other kind of defensive sectors were relatively strong. And if you look at yesterday's session, you'll see that a lot of the heavy tech put in some good days as well too. Amazon, Meta, and a couple others. But one thing that was just dragging the market down was NVDA itself. So again, guys, we made an all-time high, just really, really just by a couple pennies essentially there. But again, it's pulling back here. I wouldn't necessarily call this a double top just yet. Can it potentially be? Absolutely. But I do think the outlook on the equities front is pretty strong for the foreseeable future. So when you see the SPY and the Qs breathing and kind of other stronger stocks just taking a breath and not necessarily appreciating, just sit back, be patient, let the market kind of wave out some weaker hands, and then you can hold those positions for longer times and hopefully become more profitable. But someone in the chat said, Joe, thoughts on an entry for ABBV? So yeah, let's take a look. I pulled this up for you not too long ago. From an intraday standpoint, it's looking absolutely fantastic. It held VWAP, really strong bounce right off it, and then essentially didn't look back. And then that's when you can look to get that new high a day. So when you have a strong opening auction and an opening drive within the first hour, and then you get that pullback around this time frame. So like you trend hard for an hour or so, and then you get that pullback, and then you tend to hold VWAP relatively strong. Look for that continuation in the trend. Look for that second leg higher, because this could just be an initial breath, and then you can possibly take that second leg. So you have a really nice entry right here for ABBV. But I wouldn't necessarily be looking to play the high a day break on this one, just because when you're playing the high a day break kind of strategy, you want to see some more momentum within the trade. So this is a little bit more of a slow burner. But I mean, if you're in at anywhere around the bottoms near the opening auction or within the first half hour, then I think you're sitting pretty good. You had a nice consolidation, giving you the ability to get back in, especially when the 5-minute candle opens up above this consolidation range. So that's a good look. I think ABBV is trending on the day, so we like that one. And then someone else asked me in the chat, what's your options play with GME? I'll pull that up for you real quick before we send it back off to Sharif. GME, again, and you know what I was thinking to myself yesterday? I said, what, price action is price action. What does it matter if why or it's moving? And I heard Obi say that it's irrelevant essentially, whatever the catalyst is, because your opinion has no effect on it. So you just kind of got to go with everybody else thinks about it, and if it decides that it wants to move, then look to participate in that factor. But again, it's moving higher, so I can't deny the fact that it is. But again, from an options standpoint, I don't know if I'll be looking to play any leverage derivatives on this one. Again, and that's just me. I may hold a little bit of a bias to the underlying, but again, if you're looking to play some options, one key metric I'll always tell you guys is just give yourself enough time, all right? And then we'll send it off to Sharif.
Yes, sir. Keeping an eye here on API. I want to let you know I got out of my entire position on IREN, but I'm very interested in reigniting this position at the volume-weighted average price. I'm putting an alert at around 1182 to account for that VWAP possible hold. Again, everything is possible here, just so that I can possibly weasel my way back into this one. So we'll keep tabs on that. I'm keeping my eye, though, on API. This is the one where I feel like we could get a blow off top here at around $6. It's very slow going now, but it's a very predictable higher low, higher high situation with some selling coming in the low 80s. So I think if we can take out the seller at 82 or 83, this could be a really interesting one over here, guys. So keeping my eye on API. I'm also definitely watching VCIG. I'm involved in this now. Bang! We just took out the first peak weather. Let's see if we can continue to ascend. I got a dip trade at the halt level. Like I was telling you about, these halt levels, they're intraday areas of support and resistance. They don't hang out for all that long, so I use them once or twice, maybe OB thrice. We'll see. We're going to go up to Adara right now. What do you got for us, Adara?
Just be aware here, this has been reported or swirling around here, these rumors, for at least a day now, but just be aware here. I have Bitcoin up because we are seeing recirculation here of some speculation that there is a potential SEC successor here as chosen by Trump, and his name is Paul Atkins. He's the former SEC commissioner. On his article here in the SEC website, it says that what he really did while commissioner was work with helping financial services firms regain or maintain SEC compliance. So lots of compliance-related work there. Apparently, though, he's known for being pretty savvy in the world of crypto, and because he also understands the agency, somebody who's worked there, he's seen as a pretty good choice. So that is what the word here on our potential new SEC chair here, Paul Atkins, guys.
Yeah, what are you doing over there, Jim?
Yeah. I'm just over here holding on to this IBIT position. So yeah, we're gonna take a look. I don't know. We're going to hold on to it. We're strong. We're bullish on this thing. So we're going to continue to hold and stick to the thesis because I do think it does rebound. So yeah, that's the look on IBIT. The Qs are slowly starting to curl back over, down about 1.3% on the session. So yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that because we can turn around at any given moment. But again, for this session anyways, the sentiment is relatively weak. So don't try to fight the trend. Maybe try to get to short the pops here. If you do have any testing of the volume weighted average price, maybe look for that continuous leg to the downside. But yeah, that's what we got there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Keeping an eye. Okay, here we go. API just took out the top there. So the level that I was looking at, the seller that was at 83's got taken out. So here we go, 85, 86. Now coming 87 on the level 2. I'm still waiting at, what? It's showing me 87s. Why are we not moving on? I'm still waiting. I'm waiting actually at 87s over here, but the spread is about 2 pennies right now, so it's going to have to cross, and so far not crossing. So keeping my eye out on this one. Really interested in a breakout on the API breakout over here, possible breakout again. And who knows what this one gets. Okay, 87s now on the ask, but 85's on the bid. It's going to have to cross. Let's go, bro. Give me that print, man. All right, so we're going to have to wait. 1 penny spread. Give me the dang print. I'm not moving it down. I will refuse to move it down. Okay, got stopped out of VCIG for the remaining amount, but I'm still interested in getting back in here because it's holding up generally at this level. Now, I don't want to be quick to this one because we got stopped out for the remaining amount. I want to see if this one wants to work back into near that 10 exponential moving average, which on my chart right now, the 10 exponentials at 613. But anywhere like 6 1/3, maybe 6 1/4, that definitely interests me there. I just don't want to punch in and then get stopped out again. So packing my patience on this one. I want to see if it can take out the top. Bang! We took out the top there on API, my man. We took out 87s there. So let's set up the next beak wetter on said API. Yeah, we got several more outs on this bad boy. So we're gonna hang out at 92s. Don't know why. I just want to front run the size there. Oh, VCIG's going. It just took out 7s again. Man, I had the right instincts. Poor execution. Let's see if this one wants to make the new 5-minute candle to make a new high above 750. So yeah, that's an interesting one. So we got a hammer candle right now on the 5. It still hasn't closed. It's got another 2 minutes to close. But I think if this one weasels above that 750 for the first 5-minute candle will make a new high, I think we easily take out that top at 772. And by extension of that, we probably take out 8s as well. So VCIG definitely not done yet. Here it comes back into highs. 750 could be incoming very soon. 7 1/4 just printed. This is a big boy move here on VCDANG-IG. So we'll keep tabs on that one. Wow. Been an interesting day today. No question about it. Love these small cap gappers. And here comes VCIG again. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Bro, this is just hard. It's a hard roll over here, man. All right, there we go.
Okay,
all right, there we go.
Oh, no,
Joseph. Okay, we're gonna have to have some more beak wetters up there. So I'm gonna look to defend $7. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm just over here still holding that IBIT position. But Maryland Mom asked me to look at BTI, British American TOB, whatever that may be. But yeah, we're gonna take a look at this for you. From what I'm seeing right now, it's definitely not the most liquid, but we're going to break it down, get to some of these higher time frames. I kind of want to know your game plan on this. If you're thinking that, hey, should you sell this? I'm just going to tell you from a technical standpoint. As you can see, you can call this whatever you want, like a shoulder, a head, shoulder, and then a leg down, whatever pattern you would like to call it. But as you can see here, it's looking like it wants to go and test these all-time, or I don't know if they're all-time highs, but this pivot high here. When a stock moves like this after it's made a low and then is making that northeast trajectory, keep in mind that someone might potentially have a game plan in order to come and test these levels. I'm not telling you to hold to those levels, but again, if you get relatively close to this gap, you see any form of rejection of this pivot high, then that can be a signal for you to sell. But if you want to take some profits going into that move, that's totally acceptable. But maybe hold some size to the point where you can have some a position left, or 20, 30%, whatever you're comfortable with, just, excuse me, to see if you can go and test these pivot levels and then break and exceed that. So just keep that in mind. I like the way this stock is moving right now, especially on this secondary trend here. So just keep in mind, if it wants to go and test, someone might have a buy program or a campaign set up where they want to push this price a little bit higher. But taking profit into strength, there's nothing wrong with that. I would suggest maybe just holding a little bit, whatever you're comfortable with. Lock in X amount of profit that you want, but just leave a little bit on the table to see if it can go and break these pivots, and then set yourself like a trailing stop that, okay, hey, whatever profit I have left, I'm willing to lose like 20, 30, 40% of that. So I think if the stock is strong, you definitely want to hold on to those winners for sure. What do you got going?
Yes, sir. All right, keeping an eye on API. It's continuing to make higher highs and higher lows. I did add into my position here on VCIG. Let's see if this one wants to weasel up. I got some lofty price targets up on here, but this has been putting in a hell of a pattern. That 7 3/4 still acting though as a bit of an area of resistance. So I don't want to take out the position a little bit too early. So we added at that 720, looking for this one to work back in at least into the $0.50. Here we go. Seller, big seller at the $0.50. It can't break the $0.50. There we go. So keep your eye on the level 2. This is super important. Here we go. Back into that $0.50 again. Can we take out the seller? Now we're stopping at 47s instead of stopping at 50. So be aware of that, because sometimes iceberg orders that we don't have notice of move down on the level. So if they were hanging out at 50s and we rejected 50s, they'll move down a skosh, 47, 45, and that could be the new area of resistance. So keeping my eye out on this one, looking for that blow off top. I want to be involved in this one. I'd rather lose on it than not be involved. So we'll see what this one gets. SOS, I'm looking at the side chart here, not doing a whole lot. It's kind of locked in a bit of a pattern at the moment at that $14 area, not making highs, not making lows. So that's my look there for SOS. Where's my SOS screen?
Yeah,
there it is.
Got that song stuck in my head now.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
I know, it's not a good one. Okay, so I'm getting an alert here for IREN. IREN is coming into VWAP, and that interests me because I told you guys I'd be looking to get in some at VWAP on IREN. So we're going to start a small position here on IREN just to work our way in. Then I'm going to set some more dip trades on IREN to defend. Oh, crap. To defend that whole dollar level. Yeah, so sorry, I hit the wrong button there. There we go. There we go. Okay, so now we're back into IREN, and I want to set some more dip trades on IREN there at 77. So we'll see what comes of that. So IREN, we're involved in that right now. Where are we long on IREN? Yeah, 83s, very small position. I'm looking for this to dip in a little bit more. So I'm going to set up some more orders there for the breach of VWAP. So we set up the orders on IREN, and just let's see what happens with this one. API, this one, beautiful, man. Here comes 90, 89s on API. Where are we long on API? We're long 63s, so not a bad look over here. Waiting for this one to either reject, appreciate you, Joseph, at 90, or what the situation is. We're waiting at 92s for a beak wetter here on IREN. Let's see if that bad boy manifests. So lots of positions on for me at the moment, but I like all of them. Okay, so that's the look right now. Sorry, I said IREN, but I meant API for that 90 break and take. So that's a look there. What do we got with this one? Okay, IREN is coming back. Where are we long on IREN, by the way? We're long 83s. Yeah, this is not what I want. I definitely want a lot more than that. So we'll pack our patience. The one that's kind of in flux is VCIG. We got a good price, but that seller at 50 is just blocking my way up here. Here comes 7 1/3 again. We haven't even gotten back to that 7 1/2, so I can see whether or not that seller of note is still hanging out there. Here comes 40s. Now, the thing is, though, we're making lower highs, and I don't need to see that. If we're going to start making lower highs and we can't take out that top, I got to get the hell out of here. because that usually means an iceberg is moving down incrementally on this name. So decisions. I put my stop already on this one. I don't want to paper hand this trade, especially if it takes out the top, and it's still hanging out at highs, Joseph. So there's really no reason other than the iceberg possibly moving down for me to get out of this. Here again, look, it's not even working to 40s this time. Now we're seeing 37. So that seller is moving down incrementally. That's what I'm seeing. I'm confident of that. Now, the other side of that coin is, do you have a buyer, a big enough buyer on this that takes out that level? And here we go. We're zigging and zagging again. Anything below 660 and I'm gone. So we gave up the ghost there. The lower highs were operative here. So this one might end up being a loser unless we retake 7 super quick. So packing my patience. Let's see what we get there, Joseph. What are you looking at?
Yeah. We're just slowly grinding, holding on to around a break even here on IBIT. The Qs are starting to turn around a bit, but someone in the chat asked me to take a look at TGT. So yeah, they said they're talking gap fill on this thing. From a retail standpoint, they're a little bit on the weaker side. But again, just wait. I think when it breached the gap fill, I said wait for the pullback and then see if it can re-enter the gap. Unfortunately, it's a hefty one, so it's going to take some time to fill. So that's going to be a little bit of a longer duration swing if you're looking to play that. But then you're going to also need some positive reports from TGT as well too. Just zooming out a little bit here, this is unfortunately this is not a stock that you would necessarily want to own for the long term. If you're looking to do some retail trades, it's Walmart and Costco, even though Costco is a little bit on the more expensive side of things. But again, I mentioned this, there's just eliminate the speculation aspect as much as you can. Stick to strong fundamental stocks, stick to strong technical stocks, and don't be putting yourself in positions where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm in some target. Let's see if this thing can start crawling higher and higher. When from a historical standpoint, it has done essentially the total opposite, and then you're scratching your head, being like, well, why isn't it working? Well, we talk about this a lot. History tends to repeat itself. All right, so just after report after report, this thing is just kind of, I mean, you got some gap ups here, but then you get a gap down, another gap up, and then it just completely sells off, and then essentially has done nothing since, and then continues to gap down. I'm not saying don't play the gap fill on this one, but just keep in mind your thesis is strictly technical from that standpoint. So don't look for this thing to appreciate more when the fundamentals don't necessarily support the backing of the price action. So that can help a little bit. But yeah, guys, I mean, we're here in IBIT. We haven't put on too many positions. I mentioned to you before that we had this IBIT. We took a couple stabs here, and then we had Microsoft as well too. So yeah, we took a loss on that one, unfortunately, as well, and then Google as well too. So I mean, hey guys, sometimes it's like that. It's just it's part of the game. It's part of the game. Some days you're just rolling, you're on fire, you're putting up stellar months, been a decent month, and then sometimes it just doesn't work or you're not executing to full form. So nothing to panic about. We're not hitting the red panic button just yet, nor will we probably ever, because you can always just come back to earth and get things rolling again. Just keep practicing, keep doing what you're doing, and then sure enough, things will turn around. Again, it's not about how many times you get knocked down, it's about how many times you get back up 100%. At the end of it. So yeah, and sure enough, here we are with IBIT starting to work because it's strong. We're buying strong things, we're buying strong assets. So let's see if we can recover some of the day's losses on this IBIT trade, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, same positions, nothing changes. We're still in the same situation over here. VCIG came into that 10, defended 6.5, so we're still involved in that one. How's this other one doing over here? IREN. Okay, so we did get the dip trade. It hasn't worked its way into VWAP yet, so if it hangs out at 80 and I see that there is a buyer at 80, I'll add a little bit more over here. Where are we here on VCIG? Okay, we're about 20 pennies in the money, nothing to write home about. Looking for a break and take of 7. Let's set up beak wetters in case this one really gets going. Oops. And goes without us over here. Here comes 7. Okay, big move up here. There we go, first beak wetter. Let's set up at 733 now. Here we go. Actually, let's set at 25s first. And then we're gonna set up at we're gonna try to front run the $0.50 if that's possible over here. But we're gonna have to decisively take 7. Stops already in place. Nothing changes over here. Let's see if this one wants to run up. VCIG involved in it. A couple of paper cuts, but that's fine. We'll look to do a little bit better on this one. Let's look at Fate, because I was talking to somebody in the chat there, and they were telling me, look, brother, Fate, it's a head and shoulders pattern, possibly at VWAP with the double top. It is, but it keeps defending 3, excuse me. So something's afoot with this one. Fate at 3 seems to keep encountering buyers. I think this is what the person in the chat was talking about there with that 332 HOD today or yesterday. Today it's a 322 HOD, but we keep weaseling above VWAP. Now, the other side of that coin is we're putting in lower highs with that flat bottom right at 3. So this could be a flat bottom break. I have to account for that in my analysis. Okay, VCIG is really going, and we're really printing. We're $1 in the money on this one, and it just took out all my orders, Joseph. So here we go. VCIG. Let's set up at 777s now. We're gonna sit at 777 because what's life without whimsy? Let's set up over here. If this one really wants to get going, it's gonna take out the HOD there. So at the best, we got 80 pennies because we took it out at mid-40s. We're long, low 60s. So good look right now on VCIG. This thing's up 310%. The volume keeps coming in right now. We could get an 8 break and take, but I got to tell you, that 7 3/4 acting as that big boy area of resistance. We haven't been able to take it out, volume or otherwise. It didn't really matter. We keep coming in right into that same level, encountering a seller of note that keeps pushing this below that level. So I'd like to get something in again if it wants to dip into that 6.5. 6.5 has been an interesting area of support. I saw it over here. I saw it over here. And the reason I got stopped out is bad stop placement there, man. It was sound strategy, bad stop placement. That's kind of what you have to deal with when you're making decisions on the fly like this. But I like what this one does. We're out of 3/5 of the position. So a couple of more beak wetters left on this bad boy. Let's see if it continues to ascend to the high side. Let's look at some of the other trades. Okay, Iren, I see you, sir. Nice in the money here, Joseph. About 15 pennies in the money. We're going to wet our beak again on this one. So this, again, Iren, VWAP, dang, hold. Here we go. Give me 5s, boy. Let me hang out up here. No, that's not what I want. I want it at the 5s. Thank you. So we'll put another beak wetter possibly there on Iron at the 5s. It was a beautiful VWAP hold, but I am disappointed because both my dollar cost averages did not print. It didn't print anything lower than 80, and I didn't get an opportunity to add. So a bit of a tougher one there with a smaller position right now as it works its way back up. You're always disappointed as a trader. I'm just speaking for myself in the sense that you either don't have enough size, you don't have the best entry or exit, whatever the hell else. There's always something to be mad about. But hey, man, I mean, we could maybe take this opportunity to practice being grateful. You know, who knows?
Absolutely. Well, hey, being grateful. It's the perfect time too because it is.
Oh, well, for our friends down south, but yeah, point well taken, my friend.
Yeah,
point well taken.
So hey,
it is Thanksgiving. You got to give thanks. Yeah. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more there, Joseph.
Exactly.
Look, guys, I'm taking out my position on Fate for a 1 penny loss because, quite frankly, it's coming back and it's putting lower highs, so I don't want to have to expend any more mental capital. We'll take a break-even trade on this one, and that's the end of the day for Fate. We're going to focus now our energy on VCIG because this is one that's really going. It's still hanging out above 7. It's still zigging and zagging right now above 7 1/3 ram. I'm looking for this one to take out the top at 777s. Now the high of the day is 774. So by extension or by virtue of my beak wetting placement, it's going to have to take out the HOD. So that's the look right now. VCIG, we're in 2 positions. API, VCIG. Did we take out everything on IREN? No, Joseph's going to make fun of me about the hands. No.
Oh, bro, no,
we got, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. That was an absolute mistake there. So we took out the entire position there on IREN. That was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to continue to run off VWAP. So mistake there.
When is it?
He's getting ready to troll me. All right, guys, we got to throw it to Adara.
Let's take a look here at these small cap movers. Actually, some of these on this list have been traded already by Sharif today. Fair warning, so congrats to Sharif on those trades. Also, make sure that you take the time to look at our poll. I believe it's 12:30 right now, so I believe the polls might be switching over. But basically, at the start of the midday show at 11 a.m., we get 4 tickers in the poll that are moving, and you have to vote for which one you'd like to see in our afternoon rundown at 2 p.m. Then at 12:30, the polls switch. There's 4 new stocks to choose from, and the top 5 of those 8 stocks, the top 5 that get the most votes, will be covered at a rundown at 2 p.m. So make sure you take the time to look at that poll and vote for the stock that you want to see covered there. IWM not doing too much right now, really chop and churning here. Still positive on the day, up by about 0.15%. But it's worth noting, we still have not been able to eclipse those new all-time highs that we made on Monday around 245. So 245 as of right now, bit of a resistance level still for that Russell 2000. VCIG here, VCI Global trying to make new day's highs, float of about 1 million shares, so pretty small float here. They did announce they received a conditional letter of award for about $24 million for an AI data center, so good look for VCIG. Then we have OPTT. This one trades on the Amex, up about 40%. Not seeing any catalyst for OPTT, but it has run before. It is a penny stock, and you've got a market cap around $51 million. Last but not least, of course, we have to talk about IREN. This one is a crypto-related name, so it gets a lot of crypto hype there and then trades with those stocks. It did announce positively received sales for Q1 2025. It did get a couple price target increases as well after this announcement. And then about 10 minutes ago, CoinDesk drops this article saying that IREN's getting a resurgence here of interest from tech data centers for hosting some AI-related computing machines. We know there are some crypto names that have crossovers between crypto and AI, so IREN looking like one of them here, guys.
All right, Joseph, can you just take over for a second?
Absolutely, guys. The poll, we got 1,400 likes. Let's get that to a 1,500 real quick before Sharif submits the new one. So, guys, pump that up. Get that 70 more likes. Our votes, sorry. See what you guys want to talk about. CrowdStrike, IBIT. IBIT is moving up higher, guys. I wish I added a little bit more size onto this one now that it was working. But I do think if we do get to pick up, as I do my more technicals, one thing I want to point out, guys, is that, so as we're appreciating, the volume is diverging. So I don't know. Let's see if we can get it to pick up here. So I'm not going to add, but if it does decide it wants to pick up, then we're going to look to add into this because right now it is starting to work out as we plan. We just want to stick to what's strong and avoid what's not. So, yeah, guys. And Greg, my buddy Greg's, he's long 132 NVDA. Got a little pump on that as well, too. So shout out to him. Nice work there, Greg, putting up stellar months as always.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll get a bang and a money storm on that one, guys. But yeah, we're just gonna hold off. Let me know what you guys are looking at. Mara, nice pop. Yeah, let's take a look at Mara real quick for you guys. I know this is BPI's favorite ticker. It's what he just stuck to. He just stuck to what he knows.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it is popping. On the day that I know Sharif had this last week for a potential breakout, and it did just that. Oh, wow. Okay, I know. I thought that was the daily. I was going to say, wow, yeah, it really is. Okay, but from a daily standpoint, guys, still moving nice. I do think this thing can continue to move higher, especially we were talking about Riot and Mara the other day, just at being Bitcoin miners, and especially if Bitcoin really, really wants to start moving higher and starts appreciating and get to that double factor, that 2x or from whatever it is now. These are going to start to join the party as well, too. So, I mean, if you have the ability to sit within this chop before you can get those moves, those nice, clean moves as kind of displayed right here, then I think you'll be okay. But again, it's not the prettiest, it's not the best sitting in some of these trades sometimes. It is a little bit of a volatile asset there for sure.
All right, guys, here we go. Let's talk about some of these trades over here. This was... I'm really disappointed with how I executed on IREN over here. I didn't really know that I took out the entire thing, and here it comes into that high day. That's really frustrating. And you could ask legitimately, I guess, why didn't you add into the position? Well, there's this psychological compulsion not to want to ruin your cost basis into anything higher. But yeah, I got to get over that. That's on me. Here goes. It's going to take out the high of the day on IREN. Great look off VWAP. None of my DCAs ended up getting filled there. So we'll look to do a little bit better. Now, I didn't talk a whole lot about these large caps on the day, but I want to mention Apple here. because it's at VWAP, and this could be a nice, predictably short area. Last time.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
we
go
have
ahead.
PLTR twice on the poll. That's how much. Oh, okay.
You did. Oh, my bad.
All right.
Okay, you did. You changed it, Rim?
All right.
What are you
Well, I was
changing it to?
We like PLTR that much. We're gonna put it on there.
Well,
twice.
Sean mentioned it to me.
Oh.
Okay, no worries, no worries.
What? You were just.
I don't even, don't
Yeah.
engage her.
What?
All right, it's fine.
That's crazy.
Anyway, Ram, what I want to show people was this.
No, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of getting the fails all the time.
Bro.
Give me a pass or something.
I don't know what's going on with this deal.
I don't get anything good. It's always a fail for some reason. I would thank you. And I always support you because we're Team Libra. Come on.
Joseph,
Yep.
Ram, your birthday on the 22nd, right?
Yep.
We're going to have to do a little bit of research here.
Yeah.
Because my understanding is that the 21st is the cutoff. I could be wrong, though, Joseph.
she's fine.
It's the 22nd, like for sure?
For sure.
Okay. And her best friend, the 23rd, she's a Scorpio, but Ram falls on that Libra gang sign. So shout out to Libra gang. I got no beef with them. Fellow air sign.
You
I got my old man's a Libra, bro.
We're balanced.
He's excellent at not giving a proper response. If you ask this guy any yes, no question or a specific number, he is the world's greatest expert at giving you a non-answer, bro. That's what I've been
really
noticing
good at
about these
diverting
Libras.
the
They're
question.
great at not answering the question. Fantastic. No, for real though, Ram, can I talk about Apple for a second here? Because Apple is working back into the volume weighted average price, and last time it did that, it breached it, but it did reject. So what I'm looking right now on Apple is sequentially lower highs and lower lows, despite the fact that it's moving up here. Now, when we take it short, an entirely different story. It is above VWAP right now, and it's putting a nice little candle pattern. But I'm super interested, number one, in shorting a little bit, below that 234.80. And then if it really works in, well, we know we've got an area of resistance here at 234.90 because it was acting as support earlier, and then once we gave it up, it started using that level, that 234.90, as resistance. So we'll see what, number one, Apple, does it want to take VWAP on a decisive basis? Yes, no, maybe. There's no such thing as maybe. Otherwise, we're going to wait for 234.90. So much do I like that level, I'm going to put an alert there. I should put it in the mid-80s so I can be made aware of it in advance. Otherwise, I'm going to take Apple short if it puts in a red candle here on the volume weighted average price. How am I doing with everything else? Everything else doing okay. Not bad. Not bad. I want to take IREN off my chart because it's infuriating me about how I traded it. Still going. Unbelievable. Let's look at VCIG. We're still involved in that one. It's defending 7 awfully well. Very bull flaggish here. But we have a bit of a compression pattern right now happening on IREN. We're going to have to see how this resolves. We've got higher lows, but we've also got lower highs in and around that 7 area. Now, why am I calling this a bull flag? Well, because it had a very directional move up and to the right, and then we're getting a whiffle and waffle area, an area of consolidation, where you have zigzagging price action, a little above 7, a little bit below 7. This is what I perceive to be as the flag, the pennant part of the bull flag or pennant. Now, it's just going to be incumbent on us to actually be able to gauge where to get in and then where to take profitability before that eventual breakout, if we get a breakout. So I'm interested in adding at 680. So I'm going to go ahead and throw an order at 682. To front run that size for a beak wetter because that's the lower end of the range. Just want a bit more size because we've taken out the majority of this position already nicely here. 661 long, we took out 43. So not a bad look. Appreciate you, Joseph, on VCIG, but want a little bit more. Hopefully we'll do a little bit better than what I've done on it before. So let's go and have a look here at API. It's coming back into that 90 level. Last time we rejected 89s. We couldn't work our way above into 90. I'm waiting at 92. Here we go. 92 is now on the ask, 90 on the bid. It's going to have to cross. This is my last out on API. It's a predictable area to get in because it was VWAP, and it is moving up here. But whether or not we get the print, an entirely different story. We're going to have to cross for me to get the print. So far, no print. Packing my patience, Joseph. What's your look?
Yeah. That's a banger of a trade, man. Make sure you log that one because that's some Picture perfect trading there. Guys, we got a little bit off of IBIT. This was just a little test run, so I'm not going to consider that anything there. And then we had this trade. I said I gave it a little bit of more room. I didn't have too much size, but now we're starting to move in our direction. So that double down did work, all right? So that double down is working, even though I didn't double down or anything like that, but the thesis is working, so we'll stick to that. And then Jason G had a really good question in the chat. He said, Joe, what kind of expiration date am I looking for on options? And I said, well, what's your trade plan? What's your thesis? Are you looking to do long-term, short-term? So he said short-term, long biased. So Jason, the thing is with options, if you are a little bit more short-term but long biased, just remember that if you're going to buy at the money strikes, then therefore you're only extrinsically valuable. So that's time value. And that's the thing about options. The less you're in the money, the longer it takes to get in the money, the quicker that time decay will chew up the value of that contract. So always give yourself enough room. If you think that you should buy a contract that is a month out, buy it 2 months out, so then theta decay doesn't affect the contract that much. So just keep in mind that you are exposed to time decay when you are just flat out buying puts and calls. So just keep that in mind. And again, if your thesis doesn't plan out how you would like it to, you're using a leveraged derivative. So if it doesn't work, just get out of the trade as quick as possible. Because if you hold on to it, it's not like just holding outright shares where essentially nothing happens. You only lose the value of the shares. Again, you can lose with options. You can lose time value, and then the underlying asset can start trading in the money, but yet you're still negative because it took too long for the underlying to start working. All right, so just keep that in mind. Always give yourself more time double the time than what you need when you're buying just flat out options. All right, guys. So just keep that in mind. I really like that question, and I think a lot of people, even myself, had that issue. It's like, okay, well, I'm in the money on my option, but yet I'm still down on the position. Why is that? And that's because the extrinsic value got chewed up. Theta chewed up the value of the contract on that underlying asset, and you didn't have enough time for it to appreciate in order for you to make a profit on that one there. Yeah.
All right, man, here we go. We took, I lied, by the way. That was not the last out on API. We took out 92s. Now we're sitting at 99s here on API, 98 HOD. So by extension of this whole thing, we're gonna have to take out the high of the day for me to get printed here on API. Good look, good recovery off VWAP. Uh-oh. The spiled one has returned, big style, Burdette. Happy Thanksgiving. A great cocktail is the tears of the NVIDIA 150 breakout buyers. I just can't wrap my mind around why this guy wants the world to burn. But I love you anyway, Big Smile.
I would love to meet this individual.
Oh yeah, well he's supposed to be coming up here soon, so hopefully, yeah, he's getting, he's gonna get the kids passports and stuff like that, and then hopefully we'll see him in a hot minute. Shout out to Big Smile, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy early, obviously, Thanksgiving to all our American friends and the American viewers. We love you guys, and we hope you have a fantastic long weekend. Tell your family that you love them because you don't know how long they're gonna be around for, and yeah, you got to tell them keep your loved ones close, baby. So that's the look there, and again, thank you, Big Smile, for the beautiful $5 super chat there and the kind words, and simultaneous trolling of everybody who took NVIDIA along. Shout out to Big Smile, Jay Lee. Yeah, get him, Jay. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they get up to 160 or 170, but yeah. Look, man, hey, that's just the way it is. That's how trading is like, man. So that's a look. Okay, VCIG took a big dump. So we got out of that one, break even, or we lost about 10 pennies on that last little bit there. But we're all done with VCIG. Let's see what this one wants to do at $6. If it wants to hold up at 6, we'll get involved in it with it again. Otherwise, no bueno for that one, not touching that one, so we'll keep an eye on that. So I've only got one trade left now. We had 4 on at the peak, and now we've got 1. Let's see if this API wants to take out $6. Right now it's trading at 96s, 98s HOD, keeping my eye out on that one. I don't know what's going on there. There's some fight breaking out in the chat. Not interested in getting involved in that. But yeah, Joseph, what are you looking at?
Is there?
I don't know why people are arguing about Thanksgiving.
Anyway, yeah. Hey, I like all the fixings, man. I'm a big fixings guy. I think I seen Obi eating a hot dog not too long ago, so I was slightly feeling
hungry?
FOMO on that. Yeah, but dude, I'm always hungry.
See this? Did you lock in one of the sandwiches back there? They got a monster deli sandwich.
No, I
Go
didn't.
get
Oh, is
yourself
that
a
what it was?
sandwich
Yeah,
before they're all
lock in.
gone, bro.
That's all right, man. I think we'll survive on this one. But Sharif, we mentioned this before on iBit. And I noticed this pattern occurring quite often, is that you see this massive amount of selling come in, and you can see this isolated volume signature relative to the past hour or so, even more, and then it starts to rip. So let's see if this plays out. I don't know if it's going to necessarily in this instance, but I noticed this a couple times, is that you'll see that volume step in, and then it'll go just steadily grind, and then break the high a day, and then make some new highs. So let's see if this plays out here on iBit, because as of right now, it's looking like it is. So that volume stepped in, and now there's some aggressive buying coming in, which we really like. So I'm really excited. I wouldn't say that, but I'm not going to get too ahead of myself on this. But let's see if this plays out, because I've seen it happen a couple times. And if you guys have too, just let me know in the chat. But you'll see that massive selling come in, and then eventually it rebounds, and then it goes and pushes and breaks that high a day. So is that someone just offloading a bunch and then being like, hey, now there's less resistance, so now it's following the easier path that I'm thinking. So that's just something I'm kind of building in my head. So yeah, keep that in mind. Sharif, did you? Why is REN going up in the first place? Sharif, Rivian, that one's for you. Why is IREN going up in the first place?
I'll find out in a hot second
okay,
over here.
right,
Yeah, let's. Here it is. IREN. Okay, one sec. IREN is seeing a resurgence of interest from tech data centers to host their AI-related computing machines. Co-executives are also see the potential to pay a dividend in 2025. Shares rose nearly 30% in the earning or after the earnings conference call. So there you go, earnings, and there are the reasons why it is running up. Hope that helps everybody. Ram, we doing it now? 22? Oh, wow. She's doing the countdown in my ear. That's just exactly what we needed. Appreciate that, Ram. Wow. She's a little lippy today, Katina, man. I don't know what's going on with her over there. What did you do to her on the morning show, Katina, man?
I like it spicy. Spicy.
Ram, a little bit.
Oh, that's ice spice, man.
Ice spice, yes. Ad read, yes, boss. Absolutely, boss. Okay, so let's have a look at the ad over here. Just had that set up. Okay, guys, trade the pool. Are you ready to take your stock trading skills to the next level? Trade the Pool and Trader TV have a great stock trading competition that's coming soon, and it's bigger than ever. So from December 2nd to December 6th, you'll receive $200,000 in buying power to make your best moves and compete for incredible prizes. And here's the best part. The top 20 places win. So there's plenty of opportunity to secure a reward for everybody here. Gear up for this intense 5-day trading showdown and prove yourself against other traders. Whether you're aiming for the top spot or looking just to make your mark, this competition is designed to push you to your trading peak. So the countdown is on, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss out. Click that link in the description or go on over to the bottom right of your screen there and have, or scan, I should say, the QR code. Joseph, what are you looking at, brother?
We're getting some good positive comments in the chat about Raymond. She's the GOAT.
Really?
So she's great.
They must not know her.
Yeah. So I like spicy.
We see you, Raymond.
So my good buddy Elon in the chat said, Joe, do you think CrowdStrike is looking like it's going to turn around? As of right now, Elon, no, I don't think so, but it is holding these support levels very key. And then as you can see, after the report here, we have this report low. It's holding that level as well, too, so that can be a positive signal, but wait for this to kind of curl around a little bit more and make sure this support level holds. I wouldn't look to be forcing it, but if you can get in at the bottom of the range, you can put your risk parameters significantly tighter to whatever you're willing to risk on this trade. And then if it breaks, then so be it. You can just get back in again as well too. But if you're looking to play this little bit of a bottom range where it's kind of consolidating, keep that risk a little tighter. I don't know if it's going to recover on the session. It's really weak. We have this indecision candle right at VWAP here. You see that doji right in at VWAP, and then it rejects and then makes that second leg lower. But again, this might have just been liquidity grab, some profit taking, and then sure enough, out of the opening drive, it's just a complete flush city on this one. So keep that in mind. Wait for it to tell you that it's turning around. Wait for a little bit more buying pressure. As you can see, these buying candles are really weak. So Elon, I would say just hold your horse. More patient, all right, guys. And then we had Hood. DJ asked me in the chat to take a look at Hood for him. I mean, Robinhood is starting to turn around pretty nicely here. It's not too bad on the day. A little bit choppy, but again, it's recovered since from those lows, bounced off really nicely, had a little bit of an engulfing candle here, and then just moving, trading above VWAP. But one thing to note is that it's really tough for me, anyways, I'll speak for myself, is to sit into these positions where these candles are overlapping each other, right? So you get the open, close, open, close, open, close. So there's no, like, that is hectic to sit in from my perspective. Oh, yeah. You want to see these candles kind of part ways, and then you open at open where it closes where it opens, etc. So yeah, good luck there on Hood. Let's take a look at it from a daily perspective as well too. Oh yeah, see, and that's what I mean. This thing is totally starting to recover. It went from since it's IPO'd, so yeah, it's quite a ways off since it's IPO'd. But again, it was trading around here. There's a lot of bad talk about Robinhood, especially what they did. Who did they do it with? They're saying no more buying on it, or no more selling, or whatever it was, whatever stock it was that they halted, and they got into
GameStop?
Was it GameStop?
Oh yeah, they halted GameStop.
Yeah.
In the middle of the meme craze.
So yeah, which is absolutely insane. So it was GameStop. So I think that's nothing short of mega illegal, and they should have been fined through until no ends. But yeah,
agreed.
Yeah. So that's the look there on Hood. So yeah, continue to hold on to that because it is slowly starting to recover. But Sharif,
yes,
this is what I was saying. I mentioned this a couple minutes ago, and I mentioned this to you before, is that it comes in with this massive volume selling. So it's like almost like that resistance is uplifting. Now there's no more resistance for the buyers, and then it has the ability for this thing to continue to push higher with little resistance. And that's what seems to be the case on IBIT again. I've noticed this multiple times, and I mentioned it earlier. So I'm starting to think that it's just a bunch of sellers removing whatever they have, whatever inventory they may have, and then it just gives more freeway for the buyers to continue to just push this thing a little bit higher, because we're knocking on the door of 55, and with that means it's probably going to be sitting around 97,000, and when it's around 97,000, Sharif, now I'm just really long-winded, we're going to see if we can push and go to 101K on the day.
Look, bro, you know how I feel about this. I think we're going to get up there. Man, I got to tell you guys something. So every morning we got to prep the top stories, this and that. So one of the websites we obviously use is CNBC. And someone has been renting a spot, or I don't know what you call it, like basically paying a paid advertisement in the news body, or in the body of the website with the news. Will Bitcoin reach $1 million, right? And that it's a paid advertisement, and it's been there for a hot minute. The reason I'm even mentioning it is, look, if you're going to throw up prices like $1 million, who knows whether it ends up getting there or not. But the idea is, I think this is just going to go one way. And I think if you look, in fact, the data supports this. If you look at Bitcoin's year-over-year growth since inception, doesn't mean it grew this percentage every year, but if you were to average it out on a yearly basis, it's up 60% a year, Katina, man. And he knows. He doesn't need me to tell him this stuff. He knows about it. So, quite frankly, if you can deal with the volatility, deal with the big boy drawdowns that are going to come, you know they're going to come, then you're gonna make a good amount of money. That's my opinion. It's not financial advice, but I happen to believe that. Now I finally got skin in the game with my IBIT position. Obviously not the biggest position, but you know we got to start somewhere. Joseph, we're doing well here on VCIG again after getting stopped out. We're long 34s. I just wet my beak at 75s. I'm setting up another order. I set up another order to front run the size at 88s, and then hopefully we'll keep a couple of outs if this one wants to test the high of the day. It's well above VWAP. It did hold up for whatever reason at $6 at the 20 exponential moving average on the 5, showing 77s here. Here comes 80s, 80s showing up, 82s now. Can we get the print at 88s? Been waiting for a dang hot minute on this one. It was not the first time that it moved up mid 80s and didn't get the print. So gonna pack my patience on this one, up 279%, but well off the highs. If your thesis is we get back into the highs, well, then there's a lot of room to move up. Seller, a hidden seller at 83, so be careful. That's the third time it's moved up into 83. There was no size reflected on the book to prevent us from ascending, yet we held up there anyway, so there is an iceberg order at 83's 683 on VCIG. We'll see what this one does. Printing up here on IREN, happy about this one. Thank you, Joseph. Got back in at 1240, took out the beak wetter at 58. All right, let's see if this one can look, and I put a DCA too. So I put my dollar cost average to add to the position at 1230 only because there was this area of resistance that we couldn't break initially. We broke it the second time around, right? So I want to see if that area wants to defend as an area of support. I'm talking about IREN at $12.30. Just took out the print there, close to the highs. I'm seeing SOS curl up again, guys. Not involved in this one, but here it is again, and it's been doing well over here. I mean, it weaseled up, halted, dropped back down. All the while, it's been above the volume-weighted average price. It's wicked you out to no end, meaning that the range per candle is quite wide. Case in point, let's take this candle over here at 1225. Look at the range, 1439 to the upside, 1298 to the downside. So if you're not ready to handle 50, 60, 70 cent drawdown for your stop, don't trade this because it's obviously very wide ranging and looking to do well over here. What's your look over there, Joseph?
I had a really good question in the chat from Jason G. When determining your entry point, what variables are you tracking to enter? So again, this can lead towards the Greeks. So again, just remember that options are just a derivative, right? So they're a leveraged derivative. It's just another vehicle that you can use. So I try to implement, unless I'm using advanced option strategies, so if you're going just long puts and calls, kind of make it relative to how you would play equities, right? But then this is where it kind of varies in your question, and I like it, because if I'm looking to implement kind of a market neutral based strategy, this is where the Greeks come into play, and this is where you can implement the Delta Greek, all right? So what you'll notice is that a lot of at-the-money strikes are around 0.4 to 0.5 delta. Well, what this tells you is exactly what delta can kind of lean towards, is that there's a 50% chance that the underlying is going to go higher and a 50% chance that the underlying is going to go lower, all right? So that's a delta neutral standpoint. If I'm looking to base a credit spread trade, I'm going to sell out-the-money contracts with a lower delta, so the delta can be used as a percentage metric, as I just gave you an example. So I'll look to sell the 0.1 deltas. This tells me that there's a 90% chance that the price will not reach my short strike price. But now it sounds like you want to go long. If you want to sell out the money or buy out the money calls, just keep in mind, yeah, you can get that value. They're going to be a little bit cheaper, but you need that momentum to accelerate quicker, and you can profit really well. But when you're selecting strikes, understand delta, understand the Greeks, and this can help determine and you can implement the strategy exactly how you want to in that aspect. So hopefully that helped. It's a little complex, but I like to use delta to determine my strikes. If I'm looking to play gap fills via options, I'm going to go at the money. I'm not going to go out of the money or in the money. I'm just going to go strictly at the money strikes. And then again, just depends on what you're looking to implement. I think starting off your best bet is to stick to at the monies, understand the time value, understand, hey, okay, my thesis was correct. We profited, but how can we profit more? Is that by selling out the monies, especially if you get that really extended move, then you can benefit from that as well too. So I really like that question. Understand the Greeks, and then that's going to help determine your strike price.
Yes, sir. So we're in a little bit of trouble here with the short on Apple. Looks like I'm going to get stopped out here. I was trying to short Apple into VWAP, but the market caught a bit. Tesla at VWAP, NVIDIA at VWAP. That's it. And then Apple and VWAP. So it looks as if, the market curling back up, and that was not good for my thesis. Speaking of thesis, Joseph, because I was under the bias, or I had a bias that this was basically, yeah, it's working, that we were basically just hanging out at the volume weighted average price and we were going to curl back down again. But that is not the look so far. So we'll have to see exactly what we get. We haven't got stopped out yet, but we are out of the money on the dead one, Apple. Adara, what do you got for us?
We're going to start our afternoon crypto segment here by taking a look at some of these public companies that own Bitcoin and the percentage of the Bitcoin that is owned by some public companies. I do want to give a shout out or a thank you there to Robbie V in the chat, who kind of brought up this idea with me in light of SOS this morning, which did announce it's looking to buy about $50 million of Bitcoin. That was a small cap gapper that was running. So clearly companies are looking to get involved, but what percentage of Bitcoin right now is currently owned by public companies? So according to Bitcoin treasuries, about 2.4% of the total $21 million, 2.4% of the total 21 million Bitcoin is owned by public companies. That's about 508,000 Bitcoin, valued at $48 trillion. So interesting look there. The top companies that are publicly owned companies, that are holding Bitcoin are going to be crypto names. MicroStrategy, of course, MSTR, at the top of the list here, owning 386,000 Bitcoin. Mara Digital number 2, but holding a much smaller amount, 33,000 Bitcoin. Of the top companies, Tesla is the main one here that's not actually involved in crypto. They're number 4. They own about 9,720 Bitcoin. So just a quick look here at the amount of Bitcoin that's owned by public companies. In total, institutions do hold about 13% of the total 21 million Bitcoin. So just thought that'd be an interesting little look. Now we're going to look at Ethereum, which is really strong here. Bit of a rounded bottom if you look at this on the daily chart. We did reject this 2,700 level quite a bit on the way back up after falling, of course, with this bottoming tail candle formed on August 5th, Black Monday. We've been really strong since the election. This is November 5th when we get that push to the upside. As of right now, we're trying to break above, or I think currently breaking above previous resistance going back to July 2024 here around that 3,500 level. Of course, we have a lot of strength in Bitcoin as well, but I thought Ethereum would be worth talking about. It's up about 6% right now and nicely pushing higher, though we're very removed from all-time highs right now, which are above that 4,000 mark. So keep an eye on ETH, guys.
I can't wait for this one to actually break out. So when Sateo was on, I was asking her, I'm like, what's the situation here? How come we're not seeing ETH? Yeah. I'm like, how come we're not seeing an equivalent move on ETH? And she brought up a really good point. She's like, it's not finite. There's no finite amount of ETH coins that can be mined, and the staking issue is a little bit different as well.
Absolutely.
So it's not that I pretend to understand all of that kind of stuff and all the intricacies there, but it seems sound. Like if there's an unlimited amount, you stands to reason.
Exactly. It's kind of like Shiba, right? Like even though there's a burn rate on Shiba and Doge, there's an unlimited amount, and that's and to speak about kind of just supply. That's why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin, is due to the limited supply with the increasing of demand, right? So it's just literally, I'm not trying to complicate the thesis. It's literally supply and demand constraints is why I am so bullish. Limited supply, more demand, things appreciate and tend to go crazy. But I'll send it to you in a second, Shreve. I have a really good question here. From Danny Nahas. Hey, Joe, thoughts on trading same-week options? I like to keep it simple. Buy calls or buy puts, depending on the direction. So, yeah, Danny, we're talking a lot about time decay and extrinsic value. Just keep in mind when you're buying same week and depending on what kind of strategy you're implementing, so you're just buying them, you need that to work out relatively quick and relatively fast, all right? So otherwise the value of the contracts would just get chewed up, and the closer you get to expiry, the faster, the more fierce data is and the faster time decay kicks in on the contracts. I'm not opposed to them. I sell weeklies, so time is working essentially in my favor. But when you're going long, just make sure your thesis is, you have to be a lot more accurate and simple. So just again, you need to be a lot more accurate because time is working against you. You need the underlying to move fierce and fast, in my opinion. But yeah. What you got going on there, Sharif? You're putting up a stellar day there, man.
Not at all, bro. Not at all. No. I don't want you to think that at all. Did I, what happened here? I just saw something trigger. Not sure exactly what triggered there. Let's have a look. Oh, API.
Oh,
We still got another beak wetter. Okay,
not at all.
We're going to hang out a little bit lofty here, Joseph. We're going to take that $6 area. So we're long here at 62s. The last beak wetter there at 99s. Let's see if we can take out 6. We've been dancing at 6 for a hot minute, but it really hasn't been breaking. So $6 on API, 26.16%. Let's see how that one jives. I'm still short the dead one. I'm just going to stay short until I get stopped out. So that's a look there. IREN, dang. It didn't come into that 30 area to add me. I'm still long 40s. We've wet our beak there through the $0.50, but it is not coming down into that 1230 area. Again, I have a bias that 1230 may be an area of support owing to this area crest that we put in at 1120. It did reject, drop all the way down to 1180, and then we broke and took it in a nice liquidity pump there. So I'm looking for 12 1/3 to act as support. If it does, I've got a planned dollar cost average DCA just for that level specifically. So we'll see what it does there, and we will not get upset, even if we don't print. So IREN doing its thing. Apple still at VWAP. It's putting in higher lows. So let's call a spade a spade. The future is on the way up. 20,750 we're at right now. That's not good for me because we defended 700. We look like we're putting in a multiple green candle pattern right now on the NQ December contract. And by extension of that, Apple could also find its way up. Now, what are the levels here on the future? Because we're trading Apple, so now I have to involve myself with the NQ. So we have resistance here on this 2-candle holdup at 1135 and 1140. The closing prints there are the 50-point area, so there is possible resistance, not just psychological resistance at 50 points, with the ultimate wick there weaseling into that 62-point area. So number one, let's see if we can break and take 50. If we do, my thesis is I get stopped out of my Apple position. What we're going to have to see if the bump up on the future is going to assist Apple or assist the Teslas, the NVIDIAs, which are both at VWAP. And there's a new entrant now in the VWAP club. You may know him. His name is Amazon, traded formally every day by the one and only Amazonian over here. I just got punked there. Obi told me her name is Amazon. He said, look, don't you see how fine she looks? So, dang. Yeah. Hold on. Is there a particular candle you happen to like there? And is any of the bodies of the candles to your liking? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you missed it that day when he's like, dang, look at that body. Dang. Remember that? Dang. Anyway.
What song is that?
It works out. Shout out to Ob. I work out. That song. Dang, girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out.
Can I get a light bulb thing here for a second? I don't know. Is there a light bulb?
Well, Ram's got she's on the ones and twos over there, so it's really going to depend on what she wants to do.
Stop. Get some help.
Hey, stop. Get some help. That's Fabian's right there. Stop. He loves that one. So that's a look.
Get some help.
Sorry, Michael. Jeez, bro. Got to interrupt while we're doing a show, man. All right, so that's a look right now. I'm involved in this Apple trade. It's not going my way. And we're about 20 pennies out of the money on this one, so not a good look. But we did get the IREN ad, okay. So it did dip into 30. Now, what is needed here is for it to hold up at 30s. We got the planned dollar cost dang average that we wanted, so let's set up some beak wetters. And I'm gonna hang out. How much did I add? Here on my, what's it called? IREN. Okay, so I added a good amount. Nice. All right, so I'm gonna wait over here. Let's put that beak wetter there. And then I'm gonna set up more beak wetters in the higher areas over there. So we'll see what we get there. On IREN, let's see if that one wants to continue to run. Did we get the print on API? No, nothing doing there. Oh, we got Big Spile. He's dropping cash in the chat. $4.99 super chat by the styled, smiled one. Obi talking to Amazon like the guy on Big Bang Theory talking to Siri. That was Raj, man. Look, he was selectively mute. He couldn't talk to girls, in case you've never watched Big Bang Theory. So, it was a welcome change for him when Siri came back because he could talk to her. She was, as female as it was gonna get, and he would like ask her questions about like where to go to eat, and she'd answer and be like, "Oh, she gets me. She understands me." It was kind of creepy, but it was funny. I like the Big Bang Theory. It's funny. I haven't watched it in a hot minute though, so that's a look there. All right, we got a first print there on Iran. Joseph, what's your look on? Excuse me, that side.
Yeah, I'm avoiding the mega caps right now, but I was looking at Apple there, Sharif, because I was my guy is short it.
I'm out.
The dead one. He's out now. He got stopped out.
Suck.
But dude, we're creeping in on all-time highs. So I'm looking at this thing like Sharif short. He trimmed some at 230 in the personal. He's a little bit so you know what I mean. It's all right, but I think we do continue to move higher on as the very much alive one today, because it is continuing to crawl higher and higher, and somewhat of an outlier. Call me Chael Sonnen for those who know who that is. Do you know? Oh no, I thought Obi was gonna say. But anyways, guys, we're just holding on to some IBIT. We're gonna see what Apple's gonna be doing. I think it's strong. It's holding up relatively strong compared to the overall market, especially some of the tech stocks too. Putting in kind of this indecision day. We're just slowly recovering. I just think, again, I shorted Google earlier in the session. It's just really, really hard to short some of these strong tech stocks, especially, for the long term anyways. You can obviously do it from an intraday perspective, but just from a long term, it's just really, really hard and something I wouldn't necessarily suggest doing. And I said history tends to repeat itself, so just go back in history and see how the perma bear is doing shorting some of these mega cap tech stocks. Probably not the best, but again, so there's better things that you can look to short for sure. But we'll keep an eye out. We got this IBIT kind of pulled back and now going to move for some potentially new higher days, which it's doing right now. Let's see if the volume can start to step in a little bit here, which I really, really, really like. And I mentioned this before, guys. I've seen this a couple times on IBIT. I've seen it 2 or 3 times happen. And then sure enough, it just went and made new highs after doing this. I'm not saying it's going to be a continuous reoccurrence, but when you see things happening multiple times, you have to start to scratch your head and say, what is going on here? So maybe I'll talk to Obi about that one and see what he thinks that could possibly be, because it is awfully interesting seeing that happen time and time again. But yeah, guys, let me know what you're looking at. Hood, yeah, what happened, DJ? What's going on with Hood? I'm looking at it right now. Fuck. Are you still in it, or? Yeah, it's breaking high a day there. Yeah, are you short or long, Hood, DJ? So double touch VWAP Tesla. I'm not touching Tesla anymore, Mr. Long Shorts, anymore on the day. I took a couple. I was building some things on it, and it just wasn't working out for me earlier in the morning. So I'm not gonna mess around with Tesla today, especially with tech being extremely weak. But what do you got going on there, Sharif?
I'm keeping my eye on the one that I'm involved in with right now, which is Iran, defending that 1230 area. We wet our beak there, but it's going to have to hold up above this area. So I'm watching it right now as it dances with that 1230, 12 and a quarter. I'm going to pack my patience on this one, see what we get. Shout out to Big Kyle, ForexAU, Enron, all over again. What are you talking about? What are you in ForexAU talking about there? State of Texas sues BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard for illegally conspiring to manipulate energy markets, driving up costs for consumers. Hammer of justice is coming, says ForexAU. Shout out to you. Big Spile responding to him about that. Yeah, I don't have any information on that, so I won't comment, but I think I can work my way on over. Here it is. Here is the headline. Okay, well, it won't click for whatever reason. Reuters reports the FBI has been investigating ExxonMobil. Did Adair just cover this?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Yeah.
Mobile consultant over alleged role in hack and leak operation, cyber spying operation, and targeting hundreds of ExxonMobil critics. Really? Okay, Dara, I think she's got it, so we're going to send it to her as soon as the production team is ready. But yeah, that's really interesting there. I'm not plugged in, Ram. Are we ready to go? Okay, go.
Yes, this came out here around 12:01, so that's when we got a little bit of a bounce actually on XOM. So it doesn't look like it has moved the stock too much as of right now. This big drop that we got actually came a little bit before the story came out, so a bit unsure. But basically, Reuters has reported this, citing sources and leaked documents later cited by ExxonMobil, basically saying the FBI has been investigating an ExxonMobil consultant, not the company, but one of its consultants, with regards to this person's alleged role in a hack and leak operation and cyber spying, targeting critics of ExxonMobil. So basically, the FBI is reportedly investigating a consultant of the company for cyber attacking and cyber spying on people who criticized the company. So they're not investigating the company itself, just one agent of the company, reportedly, again, according to Reuters, guys.
So interesting there, because you've got to make the assumption that that individual wouldn't be motivated by their own self-interest.
No.
That they're probably, you know, doing the bidding of somebody else, unless they really had a lot at stake. They're such a big position that they would be motivated to do something like that. So you got to wonder what the investigation is going to turn up.
We'll
right?
see what happens with Exxon. I've never really been the fan of XOM.
But can we talk about that since we're on energy now, Joseph?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, the thing is, Donald Trump's coming back January 28th. That's a fact. Donald Trump wants energy independence. What does that mean, Joseph? That means more like national drilling. They're going to exploit the Permian Basin, the Gulf of Mexico, right? Exactly.
Made, so.
And, you know, they get the majority of their oil from us. 60 some odd % apparently of the oil that's imported by the United States comes from
Alberta.
From Alberta. So is this good for energy companies? We know Exxon. They got an area in the Permian Basin. They were fighting with Chevron. Remember, they wanted to take over Pioneer or whatever it was.
I didn't know that.
There, yeah. So, you know, do these energy companies catch a bit of a bid? They're not yet, though. Like, and that's what's making me question that thesis, because Bitcoin's catching a bit of a bid because everybody thinks that, you know, that's going to be in vogue. So, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I think just from an asset standpoint, it's maybe a little more attractive. Like Bitcoin being a little bit more attractive, more volatile, more memey kind of cultish type culture, opposed to you're going to these energy stocks. And I just pulled up XOM, and there's different there's other companies. I'm pretty sure like CVX. That are just absolutely amazing. But Exxon isn't something that I would necessarily be looking to take a part of. But let me pull up CVX, Chevron. Oh yeah, no, that's not. And MPC is actually what I wanted to pull up. Marathon Petroleum. I mean, like this. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't notice this here. So yeah, Sharif, you're not wrong. So it went on an absolute run. I was looking at Marathon Petroleum not too long ago, but from catching a bid standpoint, I do think that can build a bullish case, especially from the energy sector and these home-based companies, I think. So at some point, it may be just a little laggard until people start really noticing and taking use of this. But eventually, if it's real and here to stay, and Donald really wants to stay from an American standpoint, America first standpoint, then I think at some point these stocks and companies will start to vastly appreciate for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of my thesis as well. Just I was surprised that the market didn't really react to that. Maybe there's something in there that we're not discounting, or in other words, really factoring into the stock. So let's have a look. Oxy. You think that
that's when Occidental.
Yeah, let's have a look at the daily on Oxy over here, because it was locked in a hot range. We were calling this, I think it was, the level was, it was around that $55 area. That was the Warren Buffett level, because it kept bouncing off 55, but we've given up the ghost on that. In fact, it looks like 55 is resistance now. So that's no surprise on Oxy, because when you give up a level of support, typically acts as resistance. So 50 now, the level of support on Oxy, and that's been a hot minute that it's been defending that 50 level. It's not on a strict basis, and it's not giving you much of a move. Like, you can get $2 if you swing it for a couple of days, something like that. So, again, this one below the 50 exponential, below the 200. You got the death cross on this one back in July, which is where, in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, the 50 crossing below the 200 on the daily, we call that the death cross. The opposite, obviously, is the golden cross. So yeah, man, oil not breaking out, at least not yet. So we'll keep tabs on that.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on it, especially considering what we mentioned here before. But
Yeah.
which is Umbrella Inc. What is this? Sorry.
Yeah, do your thing, man. There.
Yeah.
What do you got for us, Adara?
We got a little bit of a spike up here in MSFT. Not a ton of volume of this, but it is worth noting. I just saw this story coming out here now. Apparently, Microsoft rejecting allegations that it uses customer data from its Microsoft 365 applications. So that would include Word, that would include Excel, basically denying that they uses this data to train AI language models. I guess what happened here was some people were concerned because they noticed that they had been opted into Microsoft 365's connected experience feature. And basically, apparently this feature was introduced in 2019 to enhance cloud-based functionalities. I guess that led to some concerns that customer data was being used in, I guess, inappropriate ways there to train AI language models. Microsoft has confirmed, apparently, that is not the case. So basically, the TLDR, Microsoft saying that they do not use customer data from their Microsoft 365 applications for training AI models. We did get a little bit of a move up on Microsoft here, so just wanted to address that story, guys.
Yeah, that's a big deal right now, Joseph, because we saw the market cap of Reddit skyrocket because they got data to sell for these large language models off which to train. And then we also heard beef between Google and OpenAI because OpenAI didn't deny that they trained a lot of their LLMs on YouTube videos. So so that's going to be a bit.
Who doesn't have beef with OpenAI?
Yeah, I know. He's an interesting guy.
Right? Like Elon despises him.
I like him. I like Sam Altman. You can like both guys, I think, at the same time. You don't have to choose sides. I'm not choosing sides. I like Altman. I think he's more of a level-headed guy than Elon. I think Elon is more brilliant than Altman. But I think Altman's like... I
don't know. I look at Altman, I'm like, this guy could be like the ultimate villain in disguise.
Yeah, I agree. Because he's calm. His calm demeanor makes him look sinister.
It looks like he could be... But I mean, hey, his technology is revolutionary. And we're just getting to the brink of it.
And you got to say, that was like one of the best plays of all time. Let's start up as a nonprofit and work our way into profitability, and then we're going to change our mind.
Yeah.
We're going to change our mind.
Exactly.
You can't hold me to it.
No longer open source.
You didn't say no takebacks, right? So then I can change my mind if I want. But that, in case you're wondering what we're talking about, the way that OpenAI got to market, they incorporated as a non-for-profit company, got the protection that comes with non-for-profit, aka no tax, and then obviously before they went to they switched to the profitability model, they tried to separate the different sections of the company, the non-for-profit side and the for-profit side. It's not working with investors who want that certainty of what they're going to be. So I think that they are changing to a for-profit model from here on in. We'll have to wait, obviously, and get more information about that. But it's a super interesting thing to watch there, Joseph. All right, I did get my entry on IREN there at the $0.25. Looking forward to defend here. We'll see what comes of this one. The other trade, bang. Oh, I still have more on API?
Dude, sorry to interrupt you there, Sharif, but dude, just look at that volume step in there on IBIT on this 5 minute. That 5 minute IBIT volume is absolutely insane.
That was really wild, eh?
That's insane. But you mentioned too, you're like, why is Google breaking out?
They all broke out.
Why are all these tech stocks breaking out? Unfortunately, Tesla did not participate in that potential breakout. But again, just like, look at this. This is the volume stepping in on a 5 minute time frame. It's now dwindling here. So we broke those key resistance levels, and that's what you want to see. Is you want to see the backing of the volume breaking those levels. So let's see. We're starting to pull back now. I don't know if that's just the market breathing, and then we can take a little bit of a bigger move higher. But again, I'm going to keep my eye on this one, Sharif.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So. Keeping my eye on IREN, but I'm really pleased with how we've been trading API. I just took a beak wetter there at the highs at 607. I've got, I think, one more out left, and I actually mean it this time, yeah. So now we're going to set up over here for a lofty target of, let's just sit at 619s. We'll see if we can front run that size at 20. So API continuing to run now, but I'm keeping my eye on VCIG. So this one had a big move down, the drop of 7. It's still above the volume weighted average price. It didn't quite work down into 5. I'm talking about VCIG. And now it's put in a 2-candle green pattern, looking to curl up here with higher highs and higher lows. Now, I don't know how I'm going to trade this one or whether I even want to get back in. It's up 212%. It's a good look here. It's a first kind of 2-candle series that we put in, 2-candle green series that we put in since 11:55 and 12 o'clock. We haven't put 2 back-to-back green candles on this one since that time. So I'm going long. Let's give this one the old community college try, and we're going to take out everything if it breaks that 520 area because it defended the 520 area. So that's the look there. And where are we long? We're long at 58. Okay, so let's set up some targets up here. Let's throw out some orders and get those bad boys ready. The stop is already in place. Let's see if this one wants to curl. We're going to give this one the old try up here. Back to IREN. Let's see what this one's doing. All right, we got the print finally at 35s. Now we're long 29s on IREN. This is the second stint into this one, though. So we've already taken out the entire position initially, and then we got in again, and now we're in a third time. This is the third time, hopefully a charm here on IREN. We don't get stopped out, taking out some beak wetters as we go. Keeping my eye on VCIG, nothing doing there, still hanging out basically at the same level. We haven't looked at the poll, though. It behooves us to look at the poll. All right, what do we got up here? So I'm kind of unsurprised by this. Obviously, NVIDIA takes the cake much in the same way that Tesla took the cake in the first poll. NVIDIA with 58%. Second, your boy up there, Palantir, up with 1/4 of the vote. Third after that is Dell, reporting earnings yesterday, and it was a bit of a tougher look for them. Still hurting as a result of the lack of PC demand, consumer PC demand. It looks like we're not in an upgrade cycle quite yet. Last but not least, I wasn't surprised. People don't love the small cap gappers. I respect that. Not everybody likes these. VCIG in dead last with 8%, despite the fact that it's up, 210%, was up over 300% on the day, but that's not everybody's jam. I get that.
Yeah, just to add on to your Dell point there, Sharif. I know they are, from the PC standpoint, the demand is lacking, but they are kind of putting it, hedging their bets and trying to release these new AI PCs that they think it's going to have a bunch of demand.
Yeah, which is really interesting too, dude, because think about what the situation is with the PCs now. Intel is falling out of favor. In exchange for who? ARM. People are loving these ARM PCs.
The Ryzen too. Like
AMD Ryzen, a good point.
Because I think, it was like, do I buy an i7 or do I buy a Ryzen? And I think the Ryzen was a little bit more compatible and what I wanted to do. So yeah.
But the thing is, like, my understanding is people are loving these ARM chips for a couple of reasons. One, the battery life on them is amazing.
Oh, okay.
So really good for mobility purposes like laptops and whatever else. But here's the issue. So the other side of the coin is ARM is better for battery life, but apparently a lot of compatibility issues with the ARM infrastructure on there. So not all the programs are running as smoothly as they were prior to that. So maybe that holds that back. Yeah, just giving you...
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it works there. All right, keeping my eye out on these trades. Joseph, here we go. API back into that 607 area or above $6. So looking for that lofty 619. Let's see if that's forthcoming. What are we doing here on IREN? Uh-oh. I don't know about this one. So we got the beak wetter there at 35s, but it broke 30s and is right back into that $1/4. Now, the reason the $1/4 is important to me is because it's the area I'm gauging to be resistant. So I'm going to work my stop a skosh below that $1/5 of a dollar, so below 20. I'm going to put it in the mid-teens over here. So if it breaches that level, then we're going to give back some money on that. So that's going to be the look on IREN. I'm going to move up the stop a skosh to defend that 20 penny level, up 28%. We'll see what this one wants to do. All right, back to VCIG. Where am I waiting? I'm waiting at 69s. You're going to go up to 68, not print me? Come on now, bro. Let's go. So we got a 3-candle hold up, but let me tell you, they are anemic in look and in volume. These 3-candle setup right now on VCIG on the hold up of 5. They don't look that good. I'm looking at the 5, and I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at there, and we'll look at the corresponding volume because there isn't that volume coming in with it. So despite the fact that it's catching a bit of a bounce, I don't know how I feel about this one. I think this might be a dead cat bounce, as my friend Neil likes to say, and I don't want to be involved in that, obviously. So we're gonna keep an eye out on this one, and if the volume doesn't really kick up here and we don't get any prints, I'm getting out of Dodge on that one. SOS, guys, is still continuing to do really, really well. Despite the fact that its problem, which was the range per candle, is continuing to persist. It's very directional and putting in higher lows. So the dip trades here have worked. If you've had the presence of mind to throw out a dip trade order possibly off the 20 exponential, where it's really been defending well. So SOS still in play. Yeah, so that's a look there. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, I just entered some Google here, guys. I like the pullback here. I like the indecision within the 5-minute, and we have that breakout volume. So let's see if this is the bottom of the pullback. If it's not, that's totally fine. We'll just cut it, and then we'll be able to get a better price, maybe closer to VWAP or where this prior resistance was, and now could potentially act as support. So am I in a little bit earlier? Let's see. But as of right now, I think that this pullback, this just might be a pullback, and then we can kind of continue to grind a little higher. Someone said, Joseph, can we look at SMCI? Absolutely. We can look at Supermicro for you, but we're going to look at Supermicro for you right after we get back from Adara.
Should I take a look here at this DXY, because it's worth noting we have the DXY on the weekly chart. This is what I have pulled up here. This is poised to be our first red week after 8 straight weeks of buying. We went from a base of around 100 at the end of September to a top here of around 107.5 as of last week's close. We actually wicked into 108, but in terms of a closing basis here, about 107.5 for the DXY. This week, however, we've had 3 straight days of selling. Today, particularly sharp selling. And as of right now, we're kind of resting, interestingly enough, on this previous resistance level, going back to June, July of 2024, around this 105.90, 106 area. So maybe some support resistance forming here on the DXY in the weekly chart. Today's pretty interesting because we had a lot of economic data, but most of the numbers we got were actually, for lack of a better term, a little bit boring or more subdued. Pretty much all of these prints came in exactly in line with expectations, including all 4 PCE prints and the GDP print. We did get a slightly lower than expected initial jobless claims number and some lower than expected durable goods, but generally in line with estimates here in this shortened week with this big data-filled Wednesday, guys. This is the last big economic data day of the week as well, because we're not going to get anything major on Thursday, or Friday, sorry, and of course Thursday we have the markets closed. So interesting look here. Let's see if the DXY actually does complete this bearish engulfing candle here, or if we get maybe a little bit of positivity during Friday's shortened session, guys.
Shout out to 2 New York cents. You want to cover SMCI?
Yeah, SMCI. I'm just going to touch on that real quick. This isn't a stock I'd be looking to buy. You're talking about being delisted the other day. Is it going to recover? I don't know. I don't know enough about it, unfortunately. Let's see from an intraday standpoint. It's looking like it might want to take another move to the downside. So if you have any relative profits in this thing, which I think, I don't think too many people will, but if you do, just look to get out of it. We're entering this gap and some key resistance levels, some support, and some things that can be potential key resistance levels. So just keep that in mind. Not something I would be looking to get into. So sorry, Darius. I know I said someone and I seen it was Darius Golden. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, Darius. Obviously, I'll look at that for you, brother. So hopefully that helps, even though I didn't give you too much there.
Yeah, your buddy in the chat, Greg, saying that it's actually tough to get delisted. We already know that SMCI got delisted prior in 2018, weaseled their way back 2020, How? Joseph. I don't know what they did. I didn't actually get the story, but I know for a fact that they were delisted.
Really?
And they worked their way back in 2020, I think. I'm pretty sure during the pandemic. Not 100% sure if it was, yeah, it probably was
the only stock that I ever seen delisted was SVB.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
because...
as the bank, right? Because the
bankruptcy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they just had too many, the interest rate cycle was just
bad,
destroying them, and they had all these lower interest rates in there just getting smoked.
Yeah, Joseph's referring to the regional banking crisis that we had in March of 2023. It was a bit of an issue to run on the bank with SVB, and then you had another bank taken out and shot in the back there, which wasn't actually which wasn't actually insolvent. It was what was that? New York. It was a New York City bank. The one that Community Bank, NYCB, or New York Community Bank was basically taken out on Saturday or like Sunday. It was over the weekend. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Then we came Monday and it was halted, and nobody understood what the hell happened.
So Jeremy Diamond acquired the SVB's book, right?
Yes.
You see the reports after that?
They killed it.
And, bro,
of course, it was accretive.
Killed it.
Yeah, and that's kind of like it's a tough one there. I mean, the fact that, well, hey, look, they put up money. Jeremy had to throw up money in order to do that. Anyway, I want to mention this, NVIDIA, guys. NVIDIA is really going here. Shout out to 2 New York cents. Raymond, can I show the chart? Rounded bottom there through 132. Fantastic. Yeah, wow. 132 defend, taking VWAP, taking all the moving averages along the way now. Knocking the door of that 134. We don't have any resistance here. Well, a little bit. We have a 2-candle hold up here on the 5 at 9.55 and 10 that did reject at 134. Let's see if NVIDIA can get all the way back. In my opinion, 135 is the target because that was the low during the pre-market. All pre-market, we defended 135 and then gave it up there right at 930 going red. Well, we were already red on NVIDIA, but got more red. So 134 in focus now. In my humble opinion, though, 135, a decent price target to account for that consolidation area low in the pre. So NVIDIA, very strong, looking to get a little bit stronger right now. Most of these mags are recovering, Joseph. You got Apple above VWAP and trying to take out that 235. You got Amazon up or almost up on the day here. It's up to 206. You got Meta at VWAP. Microsoft working its way back into VWAP. Google's actually green on the day, and I believe Google is the only Mag 7 right now that's actually green, but barely above that 169.12, which was the closing print. The NQ still down about 100%. And the NQ is at an interesting area here. We just weaseled into 20,800. We're close. So the 100-point levels are areas of psychological support and resistance. In addition to that, we have the volume-weighted average price on the NQ December contract at 807. So you've got that 800 print, then the 807 possible resistance for VWAP there. So keep tabs on that. Let's have a look at our small cap gapper traders. What's the situation there? Nothing doing. Out of the money a little bit on VCIG, but IREN continuing to hold up at that $0.25, Joe. What's your look over there?
Sharif, you know what time it is.
I do know.
We got to pay some bills, my friend, as you would like to say. eSignal. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data, instant trading, know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Better backtesting and scanning, predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data up to the second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Scan the QR code. Just do it.
Just do it.
Or check the link.
Yeah, you can do either.
Whatever one.
Everything's fine. Everything's good there.
Whatever's easier. We need more of these QR codes. Toast. Oh, yeah, I told you about the Toast platform. So I used it at a restaurant a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, it's cool. So you scan the QR code, the menu pops up, it identifies what table you're at, and then you just place the order through the app. Yeah, right there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, we like
I
that.
was at this sushi place at Fairview Mall, and there's like a robot that comes around and like takes your order, bro.
Yeah.
And it brings your food to you too. So they send it with like, it's all you can eat sushi, right? So they send you all the different like sashimi and all the different things. And the robot just comes to your table. It knows it's programmed to know where all the tables are. You just take it off the table.
Wild.
So
when was the last time you were at Pacific Mall?
Hot minute. Hot minute. One of my favorite malls, though. Nothing illegal there, Joe.
No.
Everything's fine there. Okay, there's no bootleg stuff. If you want bootleg stuff, don't go to Pacific Mall. They don't have it.
No, if you're looking for straight shooters, you go right to the Pacific Mall. Yeah.
We're getting a breakout though, for real though, on the Meg here. So let's talk about it. 20,800 incoming fast and furious. We took 134 on NVIDIA. Look at this. Amazon's really going. Here comes 207 on the Zon, and then Meta just took VWAP, weaseling into that 569. Lots of strength right now, Fabian, as Google gets a little bit higher as well. What can I do for you, my man? Oh, no worries. Fabian's caressing my mic pack over here, making sure that everything is good, and it's having a good day.
Dude, I really like, sorry, you continue with your thing, but I really like NVDA on the daily, especially if this print holds.
Show everybody why.
Okay, no problem. I got you.
Yes, sir.
So I seen Sharif, he was talking about it just before that, and I'm like, it was curling over. I kind of put the stock on the back burner. I'm like, I don't want to look at this thing right now, but this is what I'm seeing. Guys, you see this definitive support level here? But then that potential hammer candle, I'd like for somewhat of a signal. So now I can base a trade off this, having definitive risk. 133.69, the low of that candle, thesis invalid. That's fine. But we've put in consecutive red days. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going on 6 consecutive red days, I'm going to look to play a bounce on NVDA.
I like it. I like it. And that's a great technical level right there, especially on the daily where it has more credence. Shout out to you. Good look there, Joseph. Let's pack our patience and see what's going on with the IRAN. Okay, it did defend that $0.25 Ram, but it still didn't work its way and make newer highs. So I am concerned still about IRAN not putting in higher highs, but defending that quarter. I don't want that flat bottom break. I am concerned about that. What's the other look over here? Okay, API right back into highs at 608. Let's see if, I just saw 9s. Here we go. Let's see if we can take out 10s. I'm waiting at the lofty 19, so I'm a little ambitious here with where I'm looking on API. We may flatten out before that if we got to get up, because I don't want to manage this while I'm at the green screen. But API continuing to go here. What are you guys looking at? Throw whatever you're looking at the chat. Cash money, gobble, gobble, gobble. And you're going to be doing a lot of gobbling, hopefully, as it is Thanksgiving south of the border. I mentioned this earlier, but I want to mention it again. We want to shoot an early Thanksgiving shout out to all our American viewers and our American friends. Yeah, my sister is celebrating. Obviously, she lives in California. So a little bit of a connection with you guys there. What is everybody else talking about in the chat? Adrian saying AMD, the Advanced Money Destroyer. What's the Advanced Money Destroyer doing? It's at highs. That's, well, not highs, but all the way up, says Opdana.
Is it all the way up?
Not really. It's curling, though. Much like NVIDIA, it's looking very similar to NVIDIA in that rounded bottom shape. Obi says, what a beautiful rounded bottom.
No. Okay, give me the fail stamp, Ram, please.
I'll give you the fail stamp. Ram's too slow. What are you doing there? Randy. How do you feel about this AMD chart over here, brother? Take a look at the other side there. There you go. Katina Man, what are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts?
Thumbs up or thumbs down? Oh, he said all the way up.
No, so you gotta do the gladiator. This up or down? No, you got to start neutral. Yeah,
hey.
Let's go.
Do you remember that when Triple H went like this to what's his name, the legend killer?
No,
I watch wrestling. Sorry.
That's all right.
I know. It's
I used to watch a lot.
It's interesting stuff. It's scintillating television.
It's as real as it gets.
Oh yeah, nothing realer than that. No, shut up. I haven't watched it in a hot minute, but that is a look. Yeah, we're still nursing the same positions over here in VCIG as well as IRN and API. Haven't been really doing anything with the MAG, so keeping my eye on this VCIG because it's really the one that is it's not out of the money, but it's not in the clear. So let's set up some beak wetters on this. I'm going to wait at 88. So let's see if we can make some money on this one. Gave back everything I made straight up on a VCIG, so we're negative on it now. Looking to get back into Greensville. Triple J. Double J. That's Jeff Jarrett. This is Triple J. Can I get a look at MSTR, please? Run to 400. Is that resistance? Well, just as a general rule, these whole dollar $100 areas are going to be psychological areas of support and resistance, but let's look at it on the daily. Here is the look at MSTR. Okay, so big boy move up. In case you're wondering what happened over here, that was a Citron hit piece where they basically said that MSTR's price action was no longer correlated with Bitcoin and it was extended. So we got obviously a downtrend. We have a bit of a higher low today on MSTR, but we also have a lower high. So this is an inside day that we're experiencing right now on MSTR. Obviously, 400 is going to be resistance despite the fact we did get above it yesterday to that 404, I believe. What was the high yesterday of this candle up here? What's the high? 404, yeah, 404.74. Today, the high, 393.90. So we're not even close. Yeah, 400 is going to be resistance, but you got to ask yourself really, have we recently taken out that level? And the answer is yes. So, what kind of shorts do we have up here? Hard to tell because, we definitely gave it up yesterday, Joseph. I don't know how you see this, but what's your look at 400 on MSTR?
On MSTR, let me pull it up on my chart here so I can take a look. But I mean, it had that crazy day where it was went down like 20+% or whatever. 400, I think, is totally reasonable for such a volatile stock. So today, I don't know about that, but I think in the foreseeable future, I don't see why not. I think it can definitely get back there for sure. So,
yeah.
I mean, this day was hectic for anybody who was trapped up here. That'd be a tough one to sit through, and especially if you bought and then you had to sit through that anywhere near these all-time highs. But I think 400 is totally reasonable on this thing.
And I want to make a point, too, about this. Michael Saylor was pressed by Andrew Ross Sorkin on CNBS, and he was basically, he pressed back. He is trying to make the case for how MicroStrategies makes money. They're not just a hoarder of Bitcoin and, looking at their market cap as, basically just connected to the value of Bitcoin. He was positing that he was adding liquidity into the market. He was basically doing multiple different things. I'm not going to go into it right now and wax poetic about that, but if you want, go onto YouTube, find that interview. It was like a week, maybe 2 at the most, and you can, hear for yourself what his theory or what his belief or position is about how MicroStrategies makes money, and it's not just dependent upon the price of Bitcoin. I, for full disclosure, don't have anything in MicroStrategies, nor did I obviously audit what he said enough. But if you want to invest in it, you might as well hear what he has to say in that regard, Joseph. So MicroStrategies, it's been a hot stock.
Yeah.
What's it up on the year still, man? It's up 520%, and we're like $100 and some odd off the high. So it's a monster stock. Just by way of comparison, guys, giving you MicroStrategies up 520, but you also have the likes of Coinbase up 76, Hut 8, a miner, up 110%. You've got the likes of, who else over here? BITO, BITO, not one that we typically trade around here, also up 102%.
I think that's those track the futures, I think, BITO.
BITO?
Yeah, BITO. Yeah,
because it is actually the futures. Yeah, it is. The fund seeks capital appreciation. There can be no assurances, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is the futures one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they offer I remember Yannick was telling me they offer like an absolutely ridiculous dividend.
Really?
Yeah.
We can find out what that dividend is in a hot second over here. If we have a look at where dividends, there we go, Joseph. They do offer a decent dividend. How do you look at what the price? Oh, here it is. So they offer about $1 a share, 99 cents
you know what
a
I
share.
mean? That's insane.
And they offered higher at one point, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that, June 24, they offered you $1.77 a share.
On a $25.
That's ridiculous.
Like that's
not
insane.
bad at all.
Yeah, dude, that's really that's absolutely insane. So.
I want to mention one quick thing before I send it to you. API is continuing to go, guys. We took out that level at 610. Now the high of the day on API is 615. I'm waiting at 619, just a random level to take out the size there. It's a good look. It's been continuously putting on higher lows and higher highs after that VWAP dip. We're going to pack our patience, see if we can get that 619 beak wetter. Sorry, caught in between two minds there. This one, though, I'm unsure about what to do. IREN continues to make lower highs with that flat bottom at 1220. I don't want to give too much back here, so I'm going to give this one about another couple of cents, and then we're all done out of this trade, Joseph.
Yeah, nice look there. Oh, yeah, West, y'all, nice. I'm glad.
Nice.
I know I like dividends, too. Obviously, if you can accumulate a large amount and have some passive income from that standpoint is absolutely fantastic as well, too. But, guys, yeah, we're just here in Google. We're looking for the trend continuation or from a secondary standpoint. We did grab the pullback at the right time on this one, so I'm happy about that. I tried to get into this earlier before in the session. I mentioned this to you guys, and I said, why am I shorting this thing? It's just not time to short it, even though the thesis did essentially play out. But look at this kind of like this wick out here, just a pure liquidity grab, and then it moved lower. And then whatever way you want to look at it, another grab down here, double bottom, and then it's just slowly started to climb higher. So I I like Google. I'm glad that we got in on this on the pullback, especially on that breakout. So the volume was supporting the breakout, and then we had the lower volume on the pullback, and then you try to locate where the stock may potentially turn around from that standpoint, and then you try to enter from there, and then you can get a little bit of a move. I do have to put this stop at break even here, unfortunately. I only got 20% off, and sure enough, Google is starting to pull back now. Kind of like the overall market, and it's pulling back really deep, and now it's gonna stop me out. Yeah, so yeah, that's unfortunate on that one. Google, I don't know why you had to do me dirty like that. I thought we were friends, but apparently we are not. So that's it with Google. We're gonna have to call that one a break-even trade because we only took a couple off there, and then now we got stopped out break-even, so that's okay. But I haven't looked at IBIT. I'm still in this IBIT position. It was since pulling back. So let's pull out IBIT again as well too, because Bitcoin has been extremely strong throughout the session, and it is holding these levels. So this thing usually does tend to move a lot after hours too, when the other markets start opening up their eyes and then start trading it. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. I do think that at this pace, that relatively soon, probably by, I wouldn't know about Thanksgiving, but by the end of the weekend, if it stays on this trajectory, then I think Bitcoin is going to be and surpass 100K, Sharif.
Yes, sir. I want to look at XBEV for Kirshner Crew. Look, great day today for XBEV, 6.25, but let's zoom out. So this has been the look. It's been really tough as of late for these Chinese ADRs. It is a political headwind that they can't really avoid, despite how profitable or innovative they are. They're going to encounter that political headwind. So when you're trading them or investing in them, think of it through that lens, because that's something that they can't control. They, no matter how much they cut costs, no matter how much they innovate, if there's 100% tariff for them to bring their vehicles into North America, so far, it's almost like that, except Mexico is not throwing those 100% tariffs, but Canada did, United States did. Now we're just waiting on that Shine Bond woman to do it as well. So we'll see exactly what happens there. But from an intraday perspective, your observation is very astute, Kirshner Crew, because you're putting in higher lows. It's like an ascending wedge. Every successive trough higher than its predecessor. Ultimately, though, that 1215, somebody's selling up there. And why they're selling up there? Well, I don't know exactly why, but there was a level similar to that back on November 22nd. And was that an opening? No, that was right at 2 o'clock. So it also rejected in and around there back on the 22nd, that 1215. It couldn't break through that level. In other words, did it use that level as a level of support earlier? So let's have a look. That 1215 area, generally, I mean, I wouldn't put too much stock into that, quite frankly. I'm not sure who's selling at 1215, but there does seem to be, a seller of note keeping this below that level. Look, get it on the dip trades if you're hell-bent on trading this for whatever reason. Get it on the dips, because every successive trough is higher. You just make sure that you're scalping it out into that 1215. Whether or not it breaks 1215, hard to know. You're going to have to look at the book to see how it's interacting with that level once it gets into that 1214, 1215, how the buyers and sellers are interacting, what the book looks like. Let me know how it goes. But yeah, good look for you there. Ascending wedge into that 1215 level. Let's have a look at the poll. We've got 942 votes, man. We only need a few more for 1,000. We've been doing real well on the votes today.
Oh, wow.
Let's see how it's all panning out, Joseph. NVIDIA adding to its lead, baby, up to 60% now for the monster GPU, got it together, Sharif. GPU maker today, 60% right now, with Palantir at about a quarter of the votes, 24% there. And then we're all just playing for second here to NVIDIA, VCIG, and Dell in single digits, with VCIG in last place right now. I want to let you know that the first poll is as follows. Open image, a new tab. Here it is. So this is the first poll that you guys voted for. Tesla took the cake there, 56%. followed by a couple of, or a few all in the teens with iBit second, AMD, the advanced money destroyer, there with 16%, and CrowdStrike, despite the fact that it had earnings yesterday, couldn't get love in the chat, 10% for Crowd. So I guess we won't be covering that on the afternoon rundown, but that's all good. You guys already know how it went today for Crowd. Get your votes in the chat. We only have a few more minutes left. Let's get up to 1,000, see if we can get that number on the day. I think we did it a few days in a row. So shout out to the best viewers out there, man. Best viewers on YouTube, no doubt about it. Let's see what these positions are doing over here. Still nothing doing on VCIG, nothing to write home about there. How we doing on IREN? Okay, IREN, I see you. Back up. Oh no, we got stopped out. We suck. Okay, no worries. Oh, that's right. I did take that out. But bang, there we go. API, we take out the high of the day there. That's I'm happy with that one. That was a good one there. That was like the best trade I've had on the week.
Go back. Zoom out. That's
I can do on the 5 minute. That's not a bad look right there on IREN. I just couldn't trade everything else like this, but this one was a good one over here at API. Not bad look.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really nice trade, man. That's picture perfect.
We're breaking above 20,800 right now on the Future, guys, and by extension of that, we're above VWAP. So the Future really recovering here, even though we're still negative on the NQ. It's got the likes of Apple trying to work back break even. I don't think there's too many that are on the precipice of break even right now, except Apple, and I'm accurate on that. It's really the dead one right now that needs to take out that 235.06, and then it goes green. The Katina man has been long from 234.10s. So the dude is well in the money right now. He's going to be $1 in the money in a hot second, and I'm sure we'll find out about it because he's going to hit the dollar club. Oh, my bad. 234.50. I thought you had 10s. My bad. 234.50 for the Katina. Hey, okay, Katina, man, I see you, yeah, but Apple on the way, possibly going green over here. Google is green and has been green, Joseph, since we took out 169.12s. But you got to put some respect on NVIDIA's name off the schneid there. Nice curl up off the bottom, and by the Future as well. Good look. Amazon, I guess maybe second in contention to possibly get green here. 207 is on the, I guess, in view. And to go green, we got to go 207.87 here with 5 minutes left on the show, Joseph. Any final thoughts and anything you'll be looking at going into this long weekend?
Yeah, into the long weekend, I'm definitely going to be looking at NVDA, especially after it looks like it's starting to slowly recover here from a daily perspective. I really like the way this stock is looking, and especially the recovery on the day. I really like this as well, too. Broke prior resistance. Broke through VWAP, and now it's just trending. So let's see, we had this really massive 5-minute opening range, large volume stepping in, and sure enough, with that 5-minute range being extremely bearish, it continues to the downside, and then it held this 132-ish level, and then said, nope, we're not going any lower right now, we're gonna go higher. So Joseph, your dreams of getting in at the teens are slowly dwindling, but that's okay because we will get in on the chosen one eventually. Yeah, exactly. We will, dude. We will get in. We will get in on this. We will find a way. Where there is a will, there is a way, folks. Always, no matter what. But I am really liking this from a daily perspective. The candle
and the candle.
Yeah.
That's what a hammer
that's
candle
what I'm saying.
too?
That's exactly what I said.
Yes,
so
bro.
I like that. That's what I was pointing out. Was like bang, 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 bang. Is that I think that we can possibly turn this around. Are you doing this for your week ahead or no?
NVIDIA?
Yeah.
No. I was gonna do Pandub.
Ow.
I don't know what Pandub's done today. You good?
Yeah,
Pandub is, you just got to be ready for beta when you trade or invest in any of these cybersecurity names down into 387 again. But I'm of the opinion that we're accumulating on Pandub for a 400 break and take. Quite frankly, it's been above 400, but it's had a hard time holding above that. Let's have a look over here on PanW Ram. If I can just show them the daily over here. So this is what I'm looking at. It's a symphony of higher highs and higher lows. There's, the trend, excuse me, the trend is certainly intact there, but the whole dollar, the $100 level is, it's an important level, no question about it. So you're gonna have some profit taking in and around there. But I like the look. I think we break above 400. If you look at what some of the analysts are price targeting on this, we got like 450, 430, 425. So there is a decent upside. over here on Pan Dub. So that was my look, you know, building a position, you know, into the 50 or a little bit above the 50 exponential moving average for eventual 400. It's a swing trade. It's not an intraday trade. That's what we're talking about there, Joseph. A couple of minutes left on the show. How we doing here on the mag? Let's have a look at the mag. Review those quickly. There goes Amazon. It's above 207 now. So Amazon doing work. Looking at taking out that 207.64 high a day, and then a couple of shekels above that at 87s, it goes green. Apple at 235, Katina, man, it's been hanging out there for a hot minute. It looks like it wants to go green as well. Apple, though, has a bit of a higher high today, 235.69s there, so we'll keep going on that. And yeah, everything's really looking on the up and up right now, curling to the high side. We'll have to see whether that sustains into the afternoon. Quickly having a look at some of these major averages. The only major average in greenery right now is the Russell 2000 and barely. It's up 0.14. Everything else either, you know, kind of flat like the Dow, up 0.17, or decidedly red like the NQ, Joseph. So that's the look there.
999 votes. Come on.
No, we need one more.
Yeah, get someone put it up there. Come on, bang, boom. Someone vote. There we go. Whoever you were. Hey, the funds. Hey.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, we got 1,000 votes, Ram, so we're happy about that. All right, guys, 30 seconds left on the show. Yeah. Well, the Katina, man, he's in a position, so. Yeah, that's the look there, guys. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, as we already said. You know, be safe tomorrow. Eat a lot of turkey. But make sure to hit the gym, baby. You got to get those calories off. And
I was going to say to you, because I just gave myself a paper cut on my notebook. Speaking of the gym, you see that video where the guys are training in the gym and like the one guy's like giving himself paper cuts and then like banging the scooter against his shin?
I got to pull this up.
No? Yeah. You never seen those? Yeah, you're just like training. Anyways, yeah, I thought it was.
I got to pull that up. No, I didn't see that one.
It's Super Bowl. But yeah.
All right, guys. It is now 2 o'clock. We'll see you guys on Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take it over, big boys.
Yo, welcome back. How's it going? Boom. It's going, man. It's going. How's everybody doing out there? Great midday show. These guys are always and consistently killing it.